Master Yoda, welcome.
G'day.
Thanks for being here.
Hello. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
I don't know if you can just see my camera, I guess, so you don't see my OBS stream. I've put a little Master Yoda figure on the
All
top
right.
right-hand corner, the one you used on your profile picture, so we at least
Yeah.
have some visuals. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Well, I go by the YouTube username Master Yoda from Star Wars. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm a 55-year-old long-term, I suppose, lifelong incel or inkwell, as we say in the blackpill community. Never any luck with women. Never married. Never had a girlfriend. I mean, I tried to establish relationships with women, but I always got rejected. In the end, I just gave up. And as far as sex or bedroom fun is concerned, I go see prostitutes. But me personally, I have a preference for mature age or older ladies. I really don't really like young girls. Young girls, they're not very good in bed. Plus, I'm a 55-year-old man. It'd be a bit creepy if I went to, if I went to sort of 25-year-old hooker. So most of the hookers I see, they're aged between about 45 to 60 something. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So I think the first time we basically got in contact was when you commented below one of my videos. I don't know which came
Mhm.
first, if I first contacted you for a conversation or if you first commented under my videos. It's been a few months, so I don't know. Do you remember? It's not really
Yeah, I think it
important,
was
but
me. No, I think it was me. I first made a comment on one of your videos.
mm-hmm.
Um,
And you,
yeah,
you had some criticisms, which is something I
yeah,
would really like to get into, which is also one of the
sure.
basically. Okay, maybe we can first talk about it in a little bit more general way before we get into it. I
Mhm.
I have now had 4, 5, depending on how you see it, discussions, conversations with black pillars and incels and incel adjacent people, and it's been a lot of debates and hashing out disagreements, and it was a little bit different than what I expected when I got into the space because my plan was actually not to debate people. It was I wanted to debate people, but on other topics, uh,
Yep.
for example, veganism or abortion stuff like that. But I wanted to find out more about the experiences, and I wanted to learn more. And I feel like, and then at the same time, I still want to challenge people, and I don't want the conversation to be boring. So I'm really trying to hold the balance, and I try to do that. It hasn't always been that balanced, but yeah, maybe today we can try to get a good balance between exploration and challenging ideas.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
maybe we can start with the exploration and then later on get into the disagreements. Maybe. What do you think?
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Okay. One of the reasons why I wanted why I wanted to talk to you was not only because you had disagreements with me, and you're also a content creator, so we can just hash things out on a stream. But it was mainly because I feel like most of the black pill YouTubers and incel YouTubers were about my age or mostly younger, but no one basically above the age of 45, 50. And I thought that talking to you, I would get a different perspective on things. Is my assumption true, or do I just don't see
No,
them?
no, you're right. No, you're right. Most black pill content creators, they tend to be young guys, 20s, 30s. I'm probably the oldest member. I'm 55, so
Do you think that's because of the medium YouTube?
I know. Um, I don't know, to tell the truth. But I think a lot more younger guys are becoming more black pilled when it comes to women's men and women's relationships.
There is this idea in the black pill community that this is not an issue for your generation.
Oh, we had.
What do you think about
We had
that?
incels back. Oh, look, there's always been incels. They've always been around, and they'll
Y-
continue to be around. Look, maybe back in my time, it might have been a little bit easier to find a woman because you weren't competing against the likes of online dating and Tinder. But it's just over the last 20 years or so, it's just been getting really harder and harder and harder to meet women because women just have such high standards that they do. They really have they have very high standards these days.
So, if, so you would agree that it was easier in your time, basically, in your generation had it easier.
A little bit easier, not
Hmm.
easy, but a little bit easier.
Hmm.
But it's still hard. It wasn't easy,
Do
especially
you
if you're
get?
attractive like me.
Do you have these? Do you have these conversations a lot with younger incels, where they're like, "Yeah, you guys had it easy. What are you complaining about?" Or is
Yeah,
that?
all the time. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, you're right. All the time. A lot of young guys say, "Oh, it would have been easier in your day." And I said, "No, not really, not necessarily.
Hmm.
Maybe a little bit easier because, as I said before, you weren't competing against online dating. But no, it was never easy. It was never easy. And even back in the 80s and 90s, I've seen this happen many times. I've seen multiple groups of women chase those top guys.
What
I
do you
used to.
mean? What do you mean with competing against online dating? I don't. I feel like not that many women are on. I don't know if it's just a
Uh,
Europe thing, but I feel like most women aren't on online dating platforms, right?
well, maybe they're not, but an increasing number of men and women are turning to online dating platforms to meet people. I mean, yeah, you have to appreciate that the online dating industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry because they've got a lot of there's a lot of people there trying to meet people now. And I believe there was a study done recently, and there was a very high percentage of people of men and women who indicated that they found their partner through a dating site, as opposed to the conventional way where pre-internet people would meet through mutual friends and acquaintances, and they still do,
Yeah, I feel
but
like
more and
they
more
still most people meet through real life.
true, but but increasing percentage are turning to the internet as well.
True, but
Yeah,
how are
a big
you
percentage.
competing? So you are basically seeing a woman in real life, and then you are, if she's on a dating platform, then you're basically competing with all the matches she has. Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah, you could say that. I mean, obviously,
But
um,
chances are you don't
online,
meet a woman that is on a dating
yeah,
platform right now.
yeah, because on online dating sites, women have got their choice on steroids. I was reading
But what if she's
an
not
article about.
on a dating platform?
Well, I guess I don't know. You just have to meet her through conventional means. At a excuse me, either at a singles function or through mutual friends and acquaintances.
No, wait, I think we are misunderstanding each other. I feel like you when you say you're in competition with dating platforms, then it means that to which you agreed, it means that you meet a woman and you have to compete with all of the men that are in her dating app. But
That's right. Yep.
it's more
Yeah, just
likely
competing against
that
those
you
men.
meet but you agreed with me that most women aren't on dating platforms. So it's more likely that you meet a woman that isn't on a dating platform, therefore you're not competing against. Or is what you mean that she could technically get those matches and therefore you're competing in a.
Yeah, but um, if you're on an online dating site, you are competing against other men. I remember when I was
But
last on an online dating site back in 2012.
what if you
Sorry,
both
you were saying
aren't?
something? Well, then you've just got to meet each other through the conventional manner, I
But then
guess.
there is no competition, right? Or do you think there is still competition even if
Well,
you are
no,
both?
you still got competition against better-looking men.
Yes, but
I,
not
I
on
would say
dating platforms.
that's right.
You
That's right.
said the problem is that about dating platforms. That's why it's got so hard, right?
That's made it harder, definitely, most definitely, because women now got the choice on steroids. and plus they're sausage fests on dating sites. The dating sites won't tell you this, but men outnumber women on those dating sites by huge ratios, massive ratios. I read one article, I think, on Tinder, men outnumber women by a ratio of, I think, either 8 or 9 to 1. That's horrendous. You know,
Yeah, not even all men are on dating platforms, so there is not really many women on dating platforms.
yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah,
so
sort of.
so you're not so most women aren't using dating platforms. Most women are using real life to get a partner.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
but
saying. So that's why I don't understand. I mean, I would understand it more if you would say, okay, from my generation to the new generation, people have been less monogamous. People have been getting married less and settling less for one partner, and our more serial monogamy is more present than before. Then I would get that it obviously makes dating a little bit harder. But I mean, I agree that dating apps have the effect that you're saying. I just think it's not as big as you think it is. I think it's pretty small.
yeah, but it's definitely made an impact. But what I said before about you know, myself, when I've observed multiple groups of women go for those top guys, I had a Chad friend. I've lost contact with him now. He's moved to another state, and I went on a cruise with him back in early 1992, and the women treated him like a rock star. I was treated like a cockroach. Women took one look at me. They turned their backs on me when they saw him. They're all over him. You know, and I think the cruise went for 14 days or 2 weeks. In my estimation, he would have slept with about 15, maybe 20 girls. Easy. He had a different girl every night. One morning of the cruise, I went to answer a knock at the door of our cabin that we were sharing. He was in the toilet. Three girls were asking for him. Not
Okay,
one, three. So,
what do you think these stories? I've heard you tell many of these stories, and I also hear other people tell stories like this.
mm,
What do you think this proves when you tell a story like that, or what's the purpose of stories like that?
two things. Or a number of things actually. Women mostly go by for the most part, they go by looks, and multiple
Wait, but
groups of women will share a top guy, and I've seen it happen. And other black pillars I've spoken to, they've shared exactly the same experience. They told me the
but,
same thing. They've witnessed it too.
but your story doesn't prove that. Firstly, okay, even if we completely believe your story that it happened exactly the way you say it did, which I don't have any reason to not believe you, but let's say, okay, we believe you that the story happened exactly like you say it did. But again, we would not know the reasons for why this happened. I mean, it could be that, I mean, firstly, it's just a story. I mean, it's not really proof of anything, right?
No,
And
no.
secondly,
Well,
even if
mhm.
that story, in that story, we don't, by far, don't know anything. So we don't know the intention of the people, why the girls were into him, and why they weren't into you. We don't know the other factors that played into it.
Well, they weren't into me, that's for sure. You just tell by the body language. See, this is one thing a lot of people don't talk about, especially pickup artists, who I hate. You got to look at the woman's body language. So when you approach a woman that you're interested in, you know, is she maintaining eye contact? Is she coming into your personal space, or is she allowing you to come into her personal space? You got and the body language I observed with my Chad friend was the woman saw him, they liked what they saw, their eyes lit up, they smiled, and they just went over and talked to him, and I assumed later they slept with him. So just because of the way he looked. 'Cause
No,
when we first got on the sorry.
no, you continue.
Yeah, sorry. When we first got on the ship, we met these two young ladies, and they took one look at me, and they turned their backs on me, and they saw him, and they just talked to him. They completely ignored me. All I did was introduce myself, and that's it.
When I mean, what does your story prove? I mean, I see the world completely differently, right? And you see the world completely differently, and we already know that, right? So when I hear your story, I already assume that obviously he's gonna have an advantage because he's good looking, and but
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure that you could have get laid. Probably, I'm just
Mm,
guessing. but you don't, which is completely fine. But there is no way now. I can now repeat to you what I think about the situation, what I think most probably happened, and you can repeat to me what you think happened. But there is no
Okay.
bridge there, basically, right? Because there is no objective ground on which we can agree or disagree, right? So that's why I asked, what do you think this story proves? So the only
Proves a
objective
number.
ground, it doesn't
Mm.
prove anything because we don't know what really happened. And even if it did happen, even if it happened exactly like you said it did, and even if it happened exactly for the reason you said it happened, it would still not prove anything because it's just one anecdote, right? It's just one story.
Yeah, but that's not the only time I saw that happen. 4 years
Yeah,
later, I
no.
went to his Bucks night, or what America. I don't know what you call it in Germany. I think in America they call it a bachelor party.
Yeah.
This is when a married guy about to get married, and his friends
Wait,
take him out somewhere. So,
I
sorry.
know. Yeah, before we get into another story, I don't think you get the point of what I'm saying is that it's anecdotal evidence, right? So even so, I already don't believe you that the story happened the way you said it happened. I already think that most probably it happened differently than you felt like. I don't say that you're a liar, obviously, but what I mean is I
No,
obviously think that our interpretation of the situation would be vastly different. And even if it wouldn't, it's still just anecdotal evidence.
well, I'd say it's more empirical because it's not the only time I saw that happen. I saw that happen multiple times.
Yes, it's
It happened multiple times, and other black pillars I've spoken to, they've known chads or good-looking guys, and they've said they've experienced
how
exactly the same thing. Yeah.
how many interactions worldwide th- of that nature happen every day?
Oh,
Billions,
yeah.
right?
Of course they would. Yeah.
Okay,
But I
so
mean, you can just do what.
so so and you have a sample size of 2 over a few years, right? So it's not really, it is empirical evidence, I agree, but it's very low and it's not, we can't draw any
Yeah.
conclusions
I
on
mean,
it,
I
right? So
well,
that's why I have, for
I've got
example,
a
researchers on the issue, so they can make some studies. Even though they have a small sample size, they can distribute their sample size such that it's well distributed of different people, so they can make good predictions for even higher numbers. Do you agree?
yeah.
Do you
You
even
just got to
believe
see
in the
what
research?
happens. Some of it, but you got to see what happens in the real world, and see us black pillars. We base our views based on empirical data and basic and life experience, but most importantly, observable reality. Observable reality. I mean, what I'm telling you, I witnessed this, and this is not the this happened to me multiple times. Many years ago, I was at a party, and I was with a friend of mine, not my chat friend. I wouldn't look no homo. I classed him as a high tin normie. He's 6 foot tall, sorry, not better looking than me. We met this woman. She saw me, wasn't interested. We went over to him and they ended up going to bed. Ended up going home together and having sex. And it's happened in other situations too. I've been at a social function and there's been a better looking guy and the woman picked the better looking guy over me.
How do you think this story, that I hear this, do you think I will be shocked, or do you think I'll this will do you think I've never seen a good looking guy having good chances with a woman? Do you think I don't believe that is real?
Of
Or
course,
what do you think?
you've probably seen it. So we all have. We all have.
Yeah, but I still disagree with you, right? So I still disagree that people that are not getting laid, to 90% of them, it's because of, not because of their looks not being good enough, it's because of the way they're behaving themselves or some other factors.
Oh no. Like as is there. Look,
Wait,
once again,
wait,
you've
wait.
got to read. You got to read the woman's body language.
You just
Body language
say,
is.
no, but I'm not arguing with you right now. I'm just saying that
Oh, okay. Sorry.
your story is not giving any, is not creating any form of argument or rational connection between the two of us, right? So it's
Right.
not resonating with me at all because there is no middle ground that we can have. There is no objective reality we can talk about. So one objective reality could be logic, right? So we could argue about the truth of what me and you are saying on a purely logical basis, and then you could say, okay, that makes sense, or you could say that makes no sense, or we could look at a big set of data, big enough set of data, where we both say, okay, that's statistically significant. For example, you could bring up a statistic, and we could talk about if that statistic is relevant or not, or something like that. But you just telling a story about a guy that got laid is not gonna. Do you see how that's not gonna resonate with somebody who's not believing the same things that you do?
Well, what can I do? I can only be as truthful. I mean, I've got no point to lie. I've got nothing to
No, I
gain by
believe.
lying. I already know.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
I believe you. I believe that the story happened just like you say it happened. But do you see
Yeah.
like that still is not convincing to somebody who doesn't believe what you believe in, or who doesn't already believe what you believe in? Do you know
Well,
what I mean?
that's yeah. Well, that's their problem, I guess. You know, I can only be as truthful as I can. And look, you said before that with a lot of guys, the reason why they bomb out with ladies is not because their looks, because they don't know how to talk to them. Look, that could be true in some cases. I'll agree with you with that. But I know how to talk to women. I mean, when I try to approach women, I'd go up to them. You know, I approach them in a very, very non-sleazy, non-threatening manner, and I just see if I've got something in common with them, and just start a conversation. And but if I can detect that she doesn't like me, if her body language is negative, obviously she's rejecting me, and I quickly get the hint. I politely thank her for her time and leave her alone. Most of my rejections were body language. Well, they didn't even get to the stage for me to ask her out for a date for her to say no. I already knew. I already knew. I could just see the look in her eyes, her facial expressions, her body language. It was, yeah, yeah. And when I detect any bad body language from a woman, I take that as being that I'm being rejected. I politely thank the woman for her time and I leave her alone.
Do the straw that broke the camel's back, basically, for us talking, was that we had a disagreement about incel forums being to a certain extent echo chambers, and the whole blackpill community uh, having a lot of echo chambers. And I feel like the way you are basically arguing, and or the way you are talking about this topic is very, very showing of that really being the case, because everything you're saying is only convincing if I it's not even convincing, it's just it only makes sense if I already believe what you believe, right? So if I
Yeah.
don't believe what you believe, then it has basically no informational value for me. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but well, I mean, with regards to I know that the black pill incel community often gets accused of being an echo chamber or circle jerk. But my rebuttal to that would be, look, we're just a group of dating challenged men who are just sharing the same experiences.
Yeah, I mean there is a space for that. There should be a space for that. I agree. Like there should be a space where you can just blow off some steam and where you can just talk about your issues. But and there these stories are completely fine. I agree. When you have like a, I don't know, it's something like a self-help group, right? Where you have a self-help group and they just share stories, and that's completely fine. And it's also healthy to a certain extent. It's all right. But
Yeah,
when you're talking to
absolutely.
me, an outsider who doesn't believe what you believe in, then I think you should be able to convince me of your position, or at least give arguments that are in any shape or form uh, understandable or convincing for a person that doesn't already believe what you believe in. And that would be some logical evidence or empirical evidence. And empirical evidence is not the same thing as anecdotal evidence. Do you know what the difference is between anecdotal evidence and empirical evidence? Yeah,
Well,
right.
anecdotal is more like an isolated example. Empirical is more a wider, a more when it happens more commonly, when it's more widespread.
Yeah, so anecdotal evidence is empirical evidence, but it's just one data point or two data points
Yeah.
or three data points, right? But when we talk about, when we say, when we do a study, we're not only looking at the results of the study, but we're even calculating a statistical significance, and we're looking at, okay, is that really a big enough sample size, and is that representative, right? Do you believe in these mechanisms and methods that science uses to determine what's true and what not?
Some of them, yeah. Some of them,
Wait,
yes. I mean,
how do you
some
decide?
yes, some.
I'm
Well,
scared
no,
of
look,
asking, but how do you
no, fair
decide
enough.
which one's correct and which
Look,
one's not?
when, yeah, when I'm presented with a set of statistics or a study, I don't just accept it as gospel. So, oh yeah, that must be right. I say to myself, well, does that happen in the real world? And
Wait,
if it
but the
does, I'll
statistic
agree.
is there to make up for your sample bias that you have as a person. That's what
Yeah,
the
but
statistic is there for. Otherwise, we wouldn't need it.
yeah, but then again, statistics aren't always accurate, are they? I mean,
How do you decide
um,
which statistic is accurate and which one isn't?
well, I'll see if that what I, I'll see if those statistics or the results of that study. I've said that I'll see if that what's happened if that what happens in real life.
But
If that's a reflection of reality, if it's a reflection of reality, then I'll accept it. But if it's not,
do you see how the statistic is there to make up for? It's a version of experiencing real life that is stripped away from our selection bias and our biases while experiencing it, right? It's made so it makes up for that. So
yeah,
if I
maybe.
go around, and I see um people getting, for example, there is a crime statistics, for example, and I feel like, okay, I see everywhere, okay, crime here, crime there, but then I look at the statistics and I see that, okay, there has been actually less crime committed. So that would be not in it would not be the it would not be I would not have come to the same conclusion with my own experience, but I believe the statistic because I believe that the data has been collected correctly and that I am worse at collecting data than the statistic.
Oh yeah, you got a point there. The- sorry, you have to ask yourself, you know, is that what happens in real life? Like sometimes the mainstream media are very guilty of this. That they often like to sensationalize things. That they like to make out something's a lot worse than what it actually is.
Yeah.
You know,
For
so
example, with
you have to
incels.
take the.
Yeah,
Mhm,
so for example with incels. So
mhm,
when I was on a party of a friend's bar yesterday, and I talked to this one guy, and he basically asked me why I'm doing this and why I chose the topic of incels. And then I asked him, yeah, what do you think an incel is? And then basically what he said was, aren't these like woman hating people that don't want to get into a relationship? And it was completely off, right? And he was also like, yeah, and one way of convincing him that he was wrong was that that I told him about the statistics that um, only 10% of the members in incel forums are actually writing, and only a fraction of them is responsible for 90% of the misogynistic comments that are being made on the incel forum. This is a statistic, right? So I can prove to
mhm.
him statistically that the only source that he has for misogynism in in incels, where it comes from, and then why this data is actually showing that it's not the case at all. But his experience of incels, which comes from the media and television and uh, social media, is completely different.
Yeah. No, you made some good points there. Look, you often see a lot of YouTube videos where people say, "Oh, you incels are all misogynists and you hate women." That's rubbish. I mean, I love women. I think women are awesome. Look, there are some guy, some misogynist there. I mean, many years ago, I was invited to join one of the main incel forums. I think there was it's been taken down now. And I said, "Oh, I'll check it out." I checked it out, and I didn't want to join it because just some of the stuff the guys were posting there was just disgusting. You know what I mean? I mean, okay, look, I feel sorry for them. They haven't had much luck with the ladies, but it doesn't mean you carry on like that. I mean, that's stupid. And yeah, but look, most incels are good guys. Yeah, look, there's some idiots and nasty people amongst them. And I've had the displeasure of coming across them, but in the 16 years that I've been part of incel black pill communities, most of other incels I've dealt with have been nice guys, genuinely nice, just good guys who are just unlucky with women through no fault of their own.
How has the incel space changed over the last, I don't know, what did you say, 16 years?
I've been part of 16 years, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
When you
think
say
more people
16,
become
sorry, when you say
16 years, yeah.
16 years, that's when you became like an active member in the forums online community. Is that what you mean?
Yes, correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct, yeah. I joined my first incel forum back in, obviously, 16 years from this month, May 2008.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So
Yeah,
how
how
has it
has it
changed?
changed? Hmm. Well, certainly getting bigger. And a lot of them, a lot of them. Yeah, there is some misogyny there. I can't say there isn't. And uh, but, I don't go in those forums. If I detect any misogyny or like I said before, I was invited to join one of the major incel forums, which was taken down a few years ago. It was just what was there was just disgusting. Some stuff they posted, and I said no, I want no part of that. you know, so,
You're really
but
considered an OG in the space.
yeah,
You
yeah,
have quite a
yeah, probably got,
standing with in the community, as far as I
yeah,
understand, right?
yeah, yeah.
Why
Because
do you
I
think that
don't
is?
probably because I'm one of the older guys. I've lived that life. But yeah, but strangely enough, I was on I was watching a MGTOW video, and I said that I was an incel, but I had sex with prostitutes, and one of the guys said, "Well, you're not really an incel." Well, I suppose in one way he's right. I mean, I do have sex, but I have to pay the ugly tax. So, so but one thing about incels, I mean, I know it's a bit hard for the guys in America because prostitution is illegal there, but where it is legal, I don't know why these guys just don't pay for it to get out of their system. I know there's no validation and you're only having your sex with you for the money, but get out of your system.
I mean,
Mm.
I don't think that's. I just don't think that the incel problem is that sexual. It's more about uh, affection, validation, as you said,
Oh, of
and
course, yeah, absolutely.
that's not something that you can get by paying for it. Actually,
No, you
you
can't.
might even lose some of what you're getting from the
Well,
validation that you get. It's even the opposite, since it's also like societally not that accepted, and you've, I mean, just being forced to pay for it, I would guess, makes you feel also less than before. I don't know.
yeah, I
What do you
mean,
think?
I know, you made some good points. Yeah, look, there's no validation, and but the mature age ladies that I see, as I said before, I have a preference for older women. They can be a very passionate service. I have a really good time
Mm-hmm.
with these ladies. They give me a really good time. Yeah, sure.
But
Then
then they
I
want you
have to
to
pay
leave,
for them.
right?
Well, when you yeah, of course.
Yeah. And what you want is that
But
they
you know that. Yeah, yeah, but you know that up front. That's not up front. Look, a prostitute, she's not there to be your girlfriend or your wife. She's just there to provide you with short-term
I
sexual
agree, and
frustration and thank. Yeah.
I'm definitely not completely anti sex work. I think as long as it's done
Oh,
ethically, there is no issue at all with it. It's been around forever, and it looks like there is some merit, there's a lot of positives to it if it's done ethically and
Absolutely.
without the threat of violence or even poverty. As long as that's not the case, I don't see a big issue in it. But I just don't see it as a. I mean, to a certain extent, it's a fix for a physical condition, just the wish to have sex. But I don't even know if in the world of pornography, I don't see that incels are these sex starved individuals. I don't see sex starvation. I think you would go to. I already said it. Like I've had periods where I've been sex starved and I haven't gotten laid, and I immediately like went for, I don't know, extreme lengths to get laid, or I went to a girl that I didn't find that attractive. All of a sudden started to become more and more attractive, right? So
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't see that starvation effects or the symptoms of starvation in incels that much. So I don't really see
No.
the connection between sexual. I don't really see the incel problem as a very sexual issue. I feel like it's more about interpersonal connection, and it's more of a social
Oh yeah, no,
intimacy issue.
yeah. Well, obviously, you want a woman to have sex with you because she's actually attracted to you and she has feelings for you. Of course, we're all like that. I'd prefer that as well. But unfortunately, with some incels, but like especially myself, we're just so physically unattractive that no civilian woman wants to have a relationship with us. It's I'm don't get me wrong, I'm not angry at women at that. It's my tough luck. I just wasn't born with good genetics to attract women. I've accepted that and moved on. So I gave up on dating about 12 years ago. So completely gave up. I'm not saying for other guys to give up. I mean, look, the question as to whether a man should give up on dating is a personal decision. Obviously, if you're a young guy and you haven't approached many women or for a few of them, no, you shouldn't give up. There's still time for you to turn things around. But if you're an older dude, and no matter how well you're presenting yourself to a woman, you're still getting rejected, there comes some point in time where enough's enough. Yeah, enough's enough.
How has your life improved since you gave up?
That's okay. No problem. Yeah, as I said, I,
No, how has it
but
improved? Like, I've heard you say once that your only regret is that you didn't give up earlier,
yeah,
that
absolutely.
you didn't stop
Yeah.
trying, stop trying. So I'm asking, how has your life improved since you gave up?
Um, well, it's improved in the sense you're not putting that pressure on yourself. You don't have to endure with that rejection anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You're not putting that pressure on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it's improved. You know.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see it. I can see that.
And it's not.
You
So go ahead.
you have said that you have looks maxed at some point in your life. That was
Just an answer. Yep.
um.
Yep.
I mean, I can definitely see how constant rejection is a big toll on your mental health, and how
Oh, absolutely.
removing that out of your life can give you an increase in quality of life.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know I don't know how these pickup artists they do all this cold approach and they get rejected all the time and they keep going back for more. Like, why do it to yourself? It's not worth it.
I mean, I could tell you why you would do it, but it wouldn't mean anything. Um. So, but what I don't get is, so basically you're we can imagine it like you're trying to lift something and you're not able to do it, and not being able to lift it is causing you pain every time, right? Trying basically causes you pain every time.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
then obviously like the trying is already providing some sort of training, but it's also damaging, right? So if you try to lift something that is too heavy, you can really damage your back, and there is danger for injury, right? But that, and then I would say like the most meaningful thing would be to try. If you see that you fail, train, train until then try again, and don't try too much, because if you try too much, it's always, the trying is always basically something that can cause danger, right? That is dangerous to a certain extent. But it would never be an option to just stop both training and trying. Why did you decide to both train and try?
Oh,
Because you think that no amount of training can help you?
what in terms of what, trying to find meet women, or when I was look maxing?
Yeah, I mean everything. Like, I mean, it's pretty statistically proven that women want guys that are taller or equal, like equal height or taller, more money or equal or more money. Same with education and a lot of other fields, right? So, and also that women are also just like men to a certain extent into a good physique and a good face, right? So you could just dedicate your life to looks maxing, uh, earning more money, being more educated, taking communication classes, increasing your mental health. That could just be part of your whole journey. And not only that's what I mean by trying. And I would be okay with you stopping. Sorry, that's what I mean by training. And I would be okay with you stopping to try, but I would not be okay with you stopping to train, because why? Why would you stop training? Stop getting better?
Yeah, you should always look. I agree. You should always be on a journey, a never-ending journey of self-improvement. Absolutely. You should always trying to be the best version of yourself you can possibly be. But the reason why look maxing didn't work for me and some other guys is because I didn't have a base to work with. I was very, very unattractive, and all looks maxing did was just knock me up a few points. So look, I don't want to give an arbitrary rating to my looks, but I was, before I looks maxed, I was probably better 1.5, 2 out of 10, and I got myself up to a 4. But being a 4 out of 10 isn't good enough for the modern woman these days. So it is what it is. But some guys looks maxing work. There's a blackpill guy, American guy. He goes by the name of Ascended, and he shows a before and after photo. And in his before photo, he wasn't that ugly, but he was overweight and he was losing his hair. He got a hair transplant. He hit the gym, and now you couldn't recognize him. And now he's picking up girls like there's no tomorrow. But it worked for him because he had something to work with. So when you're like me,
Again, we're at anecdotal evidence, but
I've seen it happen a few times with a few guys. I know remember, yeah, I've seen it, but it all depends on the guy what he's got to work with. If he's got a base to work with, yeah, he can look smacks his way out of being an incel. But if he's just that unattractive, no amount of look smacks him will help him. He's just that unattractive that no one will want him. So
I feel
it is what
like,
it is. Life's not fair.
wouldn't you agree that all the things that I've just mentioned, first of all, you just basically connected to one thing I said, which was looks maxing, but you haven't said anything about getting more educated, earning more money, which are obviously really big factors. So which are completely ignored. So when you look at the statistics about women's expectations regarding income, education, communication, and mental health, it's also huge, right? So, but somehow you've just seemed to have tried looks maxing, but also it seems to be that all the things that people generally, not even only women, find attractive seem to also show, be a symptom of good health, right? Both mentally and physically. So um, I see no reason to stop basically improving yourself, since I mean I don't see any case, any scenario, no matter where you are genetically, where it makes sense to giving up. Because even if you self improve and get no result from it, woman wise, you still get rejected afterwards. You're still gonna be in a way, way, way better place than you were before. Just by the mere fact that you have more money, you're more educated, you are more healthy, both on a you're physically more healthy and you're mentally more healthy. So it's just a win-win situation. And also the just statistically, if you look at it, you increase your points by, from what you said, 1.5 to 4. Uh,
Well, yeah. On the look scale, yeah.
which increases the amount of potential partners by X, and then you increase your education, which also increases your amount by X. So you're just increasing your odds to such an extreme level that it's really, really, really the chance of you not achieving what your goal was is really, really low. But let's even say that it is low enough that it's not going to happen. You still have a better life, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean,
So
look, with looks matching or any form of self improvement, it still doesn't get you a woman. You can still,
you
go to the
still get a
gym and
better
stay,
life, right?
Yeah, of course.
So why
Like,
give up?
what I, yeah, no. What I mean, give up. I don't mean give up on life. I know some black pill guys have a very doomerish, nihilistic sort of approach. Oh, if I can't get a woman, I should just give up on life altogether. No, you don't do that. What you need to do is just, yes, self-improve in other parts of your life that you do have some degree of control of, like your career or your business if you happen to be self-employed, your health, and you got to try and find happiness and meaning in your life outside of your rotten luck with women. I mean, with myself, I had lots of copes and distractions, you know, to
I don't think that's good.
what's that?
I don't think
What?
that the copes and distractions are really that good. I mean, if
What
you're
was?
really in a vegetative state where you can't move and do anything, okay, then you can just uh, watch YouTube Shorts the whole day. But if that's not the case, no matter where you are looks wise, there is no reason to just basically distract your life away.
No. What about distract? I mean, like, take up hobbies to keep your mind off women. So, to make you happy. For example, one of my hobbies is I play the guitar. Well, not particularly well, but I've been doing that for the last 8 years, and it's given me a lot of joy and happiness. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
wouldn't playing wait playing the guitar is the number one Hollywood increasing your chances with woman skill that you can learn, right?
yeah, but I'm not very good. I just do it for my own personal satisfaction. I'm not particularly good.
Yeah, but that's what
So
I mean. Like improving your life and being attractive seems to have a lot of correlation.
yeah. Well, what I meant was just just take up hobbies, fun hobbies, things that you enjoy doing.
I agree. I agree
Just to
100%.
improve to improve
But
to improve your mental health.
yeah, but not as a cope, but uh, as something that will improve your life. Actually, that will actually improve your life, and
Yeah,
by
yeah.
that means also make you more attractive. Do you agree that actually, like, people that have good lives, people that are physically healthy, mentally healthy, that have a lot of fun and that have good hobbies and that have no financial problems, that I don't know anyone that is like that, that is on a good level with that has problems with finding a partner, no matter how they look.
Well, depends. It depends. I mean, oh look, I mean, I'm not saying just because you're unattractive, physically unattractive means you can't get them. Now, look, sometimes unattractive guys can get women, but it's going to be much harder for them. Sorry, it's going to be much harder for them. Uh, you know.
What do you think is the true? What is a true cell to you?
Yeah, I've heard this expression. As I understand it, I could be wrong here. You're you're incel in every possible way in terms of your looks.
Sorry, 1 second,
You
Yoda.
yeah,
My
you're fine.
camera just died. I don't know why. Um, I am using my phone to stream.
It's okay.
Sorry. Fix
No,
this.
you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, take it time.
All right. We should be back. Can you see and hear me?
Yep, you're fine. Go ahead.
Perfect. All right. So, uh, what do you think about the term truecel, and how
Yep.
many? What do you think is the percentage? Or maybe let's first talk about the term. What do you think about the term?
As I understand it, someone is uh, a pure incel, someone like me, someone who's just so unattractive that no one wants him. Someone like me, for example. That's how I understand it. I could be wrong.
So it's someone that is just below a certain amounts of points on the physical attractiveness scale.
Yeah, yeah that's how I understand it. Yeah, correct.
What about people that say that people with autism are? I've heard that. I mean, I actually agree, kind of agree that autism seems to be. I mean, also science is backing that up. That autism seems to be a really, really high predictor of inceldom. And
Well, could be, but I don't have autism. I definitely don't have autism or Asperger's. I can read social cues. Might be in some guys,
yeah, some people would say that
but I'm
you are not a true cell because you could be you could be able to establish an intimate relationship with a partner. um you would either have to looks max, or you would have to get a partner that is on the same looks level as you are, and then you would be able to have an intimate relationship with that person and to have a connection. But that autism impairs you of doing that, so that's why autism might be uh, the ultimate. People with autism might be the ultimate true selves in that sense.
Po-
What do you think about that? Do you
Possibly,
think that's
Poss- possibly, but well, I definitely don't have autism, but look, some incels could be autistic, could have it, or Asperger. I think they call it Asperger's.
so the idea behind true cell is basically, maybe we can agree on that, is that you think that you can't do anything about it, but you actually can, right? Sorry, if we say that you're not a true cell, so if I would say that I don't think that you're a true cell, wouldn't that would mean that you just think that you don't have any possibility of getting a romantic partner, but you actually don't, right?
Yeah, yeah, I could agree with that. Yeah.
What do you
That's
think?
yeah.
How many? What's the percentage of people watching you? I mean, you are interacting with your viewers. What's the percentage of
Yeah.
people you think that are true cells in your audience?
Hard to say, very hard to say. You'd have to know them. You have to see them and know them individually. It's hard. But, yeah,
Just maybe a wild guess.
and well, yes. The true self, maybe 10%,
10%. So 90%
10%
actually.
maybe.
Wow. So 90% of your audience you think is actually able to get laid, but they just think that they can't because they think that they're too ugly.
Yeah, but look, I don't mean to throw my fellow incels under the bus, but with some of them, I'm not saying all of them, but some of them are their own worst enemies. Some of them might be too picky.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some incels are expecting to attract a hot 9 or 10 out of 10 looking Stacy when they're not particularly attracted themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of them could be too fussy. I'm not fussy. I'm bigger. I'm not a chooser. I'm not particularly fussy. But a lot of them are probably too fussy, too entitled. I think they're a bit like that. You remember that he did that horrible thing 10 years ago. That American guy, Elliot Roger. Remember him? Yeah, I tell that's a very good YouTube uh, documentary about his life. Goes for about 2.5 hours, and yeah, he was very entitled. Yeah, and some incels are like that. They think they're entitled to the hottest looking women. That's not me. I'd be happy for any possibly attractive woman, but yeah, some incels their standards are too high. They're just too high.
Do you see on the when you walk on the street, do you see women where you say, if they would offer themselves to me to have sex with me, I would say no?
Oh, well, there's some women that are just so unattractive, but I don't have particularly high standards. As long as she's not too fat. I mean, I don't mind a curvy or a voluptuous woman, but as long as she's not super morbidly obese or too old or
Do you think
yeah, but
that there might be women out there that would like to sleep with you, but are, as you've said, maybe too obese or too old?
possibly, yeah. But even older women are getting fussier. I mean,
Wait,
when I gave up on
but
dating,
wouldn't that make you a standard cell? Wouldn't that make you a fake cell? Just like definitionally, that you're theoretically.
I don't know. Well,
Sorry, my Alexa got triggered
no,
through
that's
something
that's
I
all right.
said. I have
That's
no
all right.
idea.
That's
Um,
that's all right.
yeah, wouldn't that make you a standard cell?
It could, good. But when I got re- when I gave up on dating, what caused me to give up on dating? I went on a blind date with this woman. Um, she was in her mid-50s. I mean, she lied about her age, but that didn't bother me. I thought she was still attractive, but she still rejected me as well. And I was in my mid-40s, and I was in good shape, and even she rejected me. She told me what was the line? She goes, "You're too quiet for me. I'm looking for a party animal." This is coming from a woman on the wrong side. After that, I mean, I didn't get angry with her. I mean, it ruined my night, but I just politely thanked her for her time, shook her hand, and walked away. And yeah, it is what it is. And then at that point, then I just gave up. I quit.
I'm really shocked that you say that 90% of the people that you view you think that are actually not really incels, because basically you're
It's
constantly
hard.
telling, I mean, you're constantly
It's hard.
telling people to give up, right?
No, 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 no. I'm not. The only people I tell, well, not tell to give up, but advise to give up are the older guys, not the young guys. But obviously they've still got time to turn it around. But but if you're just getting rejected all the time, regardless of how well you're presenting yourself, there just comes a time when enough's enough. No, look, whether a man should give up on dating, that's a personal decision each man's got to make.
Yeah, but you never, I've never heard you say, guys, most of you are probably fine, just improve and you'll be good, and it's probably because of your communication. Because you think that 90%
I don't
or
know.
a big majority of your audience is actually able to turn things around in life. So I wonder why all of your content is basically just telling people that it's that if your looks are not good enough, it's over.
Well, look, when I gave that 10% figure, those are the guess. You know what I mean?
I mean, I would
So
agree. I think I agree with you.
it's a guess. You know what I mean? And it could be way off. Um, with a lot of incel guys, look, they're all every man's unique. I mean, they could be incel because their looks are just are that bad. Like me, for example. Some of them, they're not that bad looking, but they just need to looks max. And some of them are just maybe just too picky. So it just depends on the individual guy.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that
You can't tell.
do you think that being too picky is kind of a disease of our generation to a certain extent, of the modern time?
Yeah,
Is it maybe also, I feel like it is affecting women, but it's at the same time, it's, I mean, incels are really critical of women being too picky, right? But I feel like
right.
men are also really getting really picky. So I feel like you could just instantly, I mean, I know it's not really the way I'm saying it, but theoretically, you could instantly stop being an incel by being attracted to that woman that I talked to you before, where I said, okay, do you believe that there is a woman that is really fat and really old and ugly enough so that she would really want to sleep with you? So in that moment, you would instantly you would stop being an incel. So just by virtue of uh, being attracted to less physically attractive women, you could stop being incel.
Maybe.
Why? Maybe.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I don't know. I'd have to meet her. You know what I mean? I have to. You know. But
What do you
with
mean? I
my
have to
age,
meet her.
well, I just meet her and see her. But see, the problem is, as you get older, um, you know, especially if you're an incel like me, it gets harder because most women, by the time they're 40, they're either in a married or they're in a serious relationship. There's not many single women out there.
Wait,
They're not out there. I mean,
do you believe that I could, let's say you sent me, theoretically, okay? You sent me a picture and I go around and I find you a woman that just looking at your picture would say, okay, I would be ready to sleep with that man. Okay, do you think that is possible for me to do? Do you think I could find someone?
no, probably
A
not.
woman?
But then again,
You you don't think I could find
no,
a 80-year-old very
no, I don't want
obese
to.
woman?
No, I don't want to. I don't want to date an 80-year-old
Yeah,
woman.
but that's okay. Wait, that's okay. But do you think I could find that?
I don't know.
You don't. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that I could, right?
Possibly.
Why?
But
Why possibly?
I don't know.
That's an important. I
Because
think that's an important point. You should. I mean, I could easily. I think it's not even that difficult. I could easily find someone that would want to sleep with you. But
oh, well,
the question is if you are going to be attracted to that, right? To
well,
that
that's
woman.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I'm not saying that you're wrong for not being attracted to her. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that let's say we could magically let's say we could magically make you attracted to that woman. That would basically solve all of your problems, right?
It could.
Wait, why are you saying
No,
it
I don't.
could? It objectively would, right? Let me know if you have a contention. Say it, but
It just depends. I mean, I mean, look, I don't care how attractive a woman is. She's got to. Oh, I also rate things like personality as well. Is she a nice person to be around?
true.
I
And
value other
if
things.
true, and maybe you're also she doesn't qualify for from a character perspective. I agree, right? She could be just a horrible person, or she could just be boring and blah blah. But if we could make you like that, like her personality as well, that would also solve your problem, right? So if we
Yeah.
would just change stuff in your brain, we could just solve your celibacy, right?
Well,
Right?
maybe. But anyway,
Wait, why are you saying
you know,
maybe? If you have a contention, let me know, but don't say maybe. Don't maybe me.
all right. um, yeah. I mean, if she ended up being the right person, yeah. But look,
Wait,
I
you.
mean, as
I,
far as
I'm.
yeah, but look, as far as technically, look, as you know, I do pay for it. I do pay for it. And but look, the ladies that I see, they give me a great service. They give me very passionate. Actually, I was speaking to some other incels, and they said that well, these are American incels. They said that in America, a hooker will only treat you as well as how much you like you, the way you look. But I consider myself pretty ugly, and I've been with some pretty hot hookers, and they treated me like a king. They treated me like an absolute king, and I'm pretty
Wait,
unattractive.
that
So
has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
yeah,
What I'm saying is that one way. So there is a few ways of solving the incel crisis, right? So we would both like to see the incel crisis stop, okay? Right? That's in both of our interests. So one way to stop the incel crisis is to reduce uh to increase monogamy, to have a monogamous society where everybody gets married, right? If people
yeah,
were monogamous, that would solve the incel crisis to a big extent, right? So 95% basically, or 80%, I don't know. Correct? Do you agree with me on that?
yeah. That sounds great in theory, but unfortunately, you're gonna. It's, I think that ship has sailed because
Yeah, I agree. That ship has sailed. Yeah,
it's sailed. It's gone. And
or
plus two women. A lot of women. Not saying all of them, but a lot of them are very promiscuous these days. And look, I don't know if this is a scientific proven fact or theory, but I believe the more sexual partners a woman has, the less chance she has to be able to pair bond to one man.
okay, wait. But
Women,
that's one option. Okay, that's one possibility. You agree with me on that? But the other possibility would be to lower the standards that people have inside their brain for a partner, right?
absolutely, yeah. But what can you? Yeah,
And that goes for man and woman, right?
absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
I
and
think
in
some
that case, we
some
would
men
have
would have
solved.
to. Have to
Sorry.
you won't. You'll never totally solve the incel crisis because the incels always been around. Even since the dawn of time, and they'll be around after we're gone. So they'll always be around. But you
I
can
mean,
certainly
incels have been around before there was institutionalized monogamy, like marriage. Uh, but during the time where we had like strict marriage, where everybody was getting married, the amount of incels was like minimal, was pretty low, right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So But what I'm saying
Then it's
is, yeah, but what I'm saying is, and what basically happens for men, I believe, is that the moment you're not able to reproduce, you're lowering your standards automatically, right? Would you agree?
what if you're not? Sorry, did you say? Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
Yes. Would you agree that the moment you're not able to reproduce, you want to reproduce, but you're not able to reproduce, you lower your standards, right?
Yes, Spurs. Yeah, yeah.
But I feel like with incels, that's not really what's happening.
Look, some incels, I'm not saying all of them. Some of them probably have too high standards, but I think most of them wouldn't. But then again, it depends on the individual guy. Depends on the individual incel. I mean, I don't have high standards, but some of them do.
I feel like it's not about standards. Feel like it's about a problem with intimacy and sex. I don't think that they have too high standards. I think that they don't want sex enough in a. They don't really want. They might think that they want sex a lot, but on some level, they're many of them are also scared of sex and intimacy. So that's why they're
Oh,
not lowering their standards.
nothing to be scared of sex.
I mean, there is plenty of
Um,
reasons to be scared of sex, right?
not really. Um,
Wait, there is enormous pressure of for men, especially young men, to perform in bed, right? There is pressure on dick size. There is pressure
yeah.
on there is even like paranoia about getting sued for consent violation, which I feel like the younger generation has started to develop some paranoia with that. There is being scared of sexual disease, but I think mostly it's about scared of performing in bed. I mean, it's women also have a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
Women are also a lot scared, very scared of sex, and when you're young and you have that, and at some point you hopefully overcome it. But there's plenty of reasons for a young person to, and if you don't overcome that, also for an older person to be scared of sex, right?
I'm definitely not scared of sex.
I
Yeah,
mean, you don't have to.
there's not.
You don't. It's yeah. Sorry, come again.
Yeah, just yeah, just on male dick size. There's a lot of myths put out there. I was watching a very good YouTube video where a urologist was interviewing a female retired porn star, and she said, "What you see in the movie, in porn movies, is BS. Like you see a woman, she's getting pounded by some guy who's got a very large penis, and she's pretending to get all turned on. And that's she's pretending. It's actually painful for them. It actually hurts them. She said, what women prefer is the girth thickness. You're better off having a thick member rather than the long one. No, I'm not being funny. This is just scientific. Because I read on a medical website, the average length of a woman's vaginal canal is between 3 and 7 inches, depending on how tall the woman is. So as a man, if you're any more than 7 inches, it's no point. You're just going to hurt the woman. And this is coming from a female porn star. So yeah, I mean, you don't have to be, you don't want to have a micro penis, but you don't need to be hung like an elephant either. So that's no good either. Women don't. Uh, there's a lot of myths put
Uh,
out. Unfortunately, people watch too much corn. They watch too much corn movies, and they take that as reality, where it's not. Porn's just fantasy. That's all it is.
yeah. So you agree with me that there is reasons why people might be scared of sex and intimacy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Uh,
But
how much do you
yeah,
think is that contributing to? Do you still think that's a factor in inceldom?
well, it could be for some of them. Could be for some of them. I mean, a lot of you said one people fear having sex is catching an STD. Yeah. a lot of incels that I tell, just go to a prostitute, oh, what if I catch an STD? Well, yeah, you could, but statistically, and I've looked this up, as a man, you got more chance of catching an STD from a civilian woman you picked up in a bar or a nightclub than from a hooker.
Also,
Which
I mean, the amount of distress that it's putting on them to not get laid, it might, I mean, the amount of stress they're making to themselves about being an incel and about not getting laid, you might think that somebody that with that high of a distress would be go through a lot of lengths, big lengths to just get what he wants, and getting an SCD is like a small risk to take, and they would be completely ready to do it. For example, you have incels that say that they would never geomax because they're scared of getting robbed or getting stabbed or something like that. But at the same time, they're saying that they have fantasies about self harm. And then I'm like, okay, then why are you scared of getting robbed? And I mean, you know what I mean? And wouldn't you go
yeah, yeah,
to? Wouldn't just the fact that you're not getting what you want make you do things that are more risky? But it doesn't seem to be the case. So I feel like sex is not what they want. It's about the validation and intimacy. It's not about sex, and that's why you talking about. I mean, you had this conversation with this one guy. I don't know. It was interview. It was called interview with a 50-year-old. It's on your channel. Um,
oh yeah, yeah. That was
he
Kenneth the Golden Child back in 2019. Yeah.
yeah, and he basically said that you are getting it, but I don't think that that's what it is, right? And you agree, I think.
Yeah, well, he said, well, that's what, yeah, I remember that interview. I had that with Kenneth the Golden Child back in April of 2019. He said, "Well, are you really an incel? You are technically getting it. I mean, you have to pay for it. So, yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I want to get into our disagreements,
Hmm? Sure.
and I would let you start. What are your you seem to have a lot of disagreements with me.
Um, okay. One disagreement I have is that you said that a lot of incels don't know how to talk to women. Well, look, some of them probably don't, but I think a lot of them probably can. A lot of them can. They do know how to talk to women, but they just get rejected because they're not good looking enough because of their looks. I mean, as I said before, most of my rejections were body language ones. I was rejected before I even opened my mouth. So there's not much you can do. There's not much you can do. Women reject you before you say anything. What can you do? It's not that I don't
What
know
do
how
you
to talk
think?
to them. Sorry, no.
What do you think is the? I mean, I don't remember saying that, but I said that most incels are not good communicators. Is that what I said?
Yeah, so along those lines. Yep. Yep.
I'm not really sure because I mean I don't remember saying that, but I think that communications. Let's say it like that. I don't remember saying that, but I think that, and I'm not sure if I have seen any evidence that of that being 100% true, but I'm really sure that communication is necessary. It's 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 necessary in order to create intimacy and in order to create any social interaction.
Of
So
course, yeah.
so there is a very very high likelihood. I think that bad communication skills is a very high predictor of inceldom. That's why I said, like with autism, for example, where you have a very limited ability to um, you have very limited resources to create communication, to have information about what to communicate. So,
Yeah.
what do you think about that is wrong? So, why do you think that assumption that most incels are? I mean, are you just saying that no, statistically incels are not below average communicators? Are you saying that they're average communicators?
Um, it all depends on the individual. Yeah, on the individual. I I
No,
know
no, I'm
some
asking you
incels.
not individual. Not I'm asking you not on individual level. Because I made a broad statement. I said that most
Yep.
incels, according to you, maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but let's say I did. Okay. Uh,
Mm.
do you think that most? I said that most incels are bad communicators, and you said that's not true. So you think that incels are average communicators compared to the rest of society?
Yeah. Well,
You
probably.
don't think that they're below average regarding communication?
No. No.
No.
No.
Do you
You have
think
to get
that
them to.
mental health impairs your communication style
It could. It could impact.
statistically?
That's how it's impossible to say.
I mean, do you think that somebody with high anxiety, with big depression, is very likely to be a worse communicator than somebody who isn't?
Oh yeah, probably that would be, yeah. Because if you're talking to someone, you sound very depressed and sad. It's not going to be very attractive, is it?
Yeah, and also it makes it really hard to. I mean, if you're in a bad place mentally, it's really hard to communicate that, right? Like the worse off you are mentally, the more difficult it is to make other people to be transparent about what's going on in your brain and to just say, hey, like to communicate what you're feeling and thinking. I feel like, don't you think?
Yeah, but
And
yeah, it would depend on the individual as well. I mean, it's there's
wait,
a lot of other
we're not
incels that
talking about
I know.
we're not
Yeah,
talking about that. We're talking about
yeah,
a broad statement that I made. So we're talking about the most incels, or about we talk about the statistical thing, not about individuals. Obviously, there's going to be great communicators also within the incel community, but I mean, I've met a lot of them. I mean, like I think that Vanta. I mean, and Vanta isn't an incel anymore, as far as I know, but he's a great communicator. Uh,
yeah, he's
but
good. He's good.
yeah, but so you agree that mental health has a bad negative consequences for communication, and you must agree that even if you think it's because of their inceldom, but you must agree that incels have a below average mental health, right?
A lot of them do. Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
A lot
wouldn't
of a
that?
lot of a lot of them have, a lot of them have depression. So I mean, I've had depression because of it.
Mm-hmm,
I'm better now. I'm much better now, but I've had two nasty bouts of depression because of my incel. So yeah, and
mm-hmm.
a lot of them, yeah, a lot of them, a lot of incels do have depression.
So wouldn't that also? Don't you think that hasn't? I mean, they could be above average communicators, and then them being depressed and or having anxiety could drag it down their level of communication skill. On average, could drag it down to a normal average, like on a whole societal level. But do you think that they're above average and then that mental health brings them to average?
Yeah, yeah, that could happen. Absolutely. Yeah.
Why do you think that they are above average communicators? What makes them above average communicators? What evidence do you have, or what makes you
Uh,
say that you think that incels are above average communicators by default without any mental health problems?
well, I say that because based on conversations I've had with other incels who are excellent communicators. They're really good. You know,
You've met incels that are good communicators. I agree. I don't disagree, but that's
yeah.
not it's not saying telling us anything about the vast majority of incels.
Well, that's right. Well, unless you meet them, then
It could just be your
yeah,
selection bias, right?
possibly. But a lot of other incels I've conversed with, they have no problems communicating. They no communication
D-
issues.
I feel like you have a big problem with uh, distinguishing anecdotal evidence from broad stroke understanding of scientific facts or in general facts about um, that we could deem objective in an empirical sense. I can't do anything with your review. You're basically saying, yeah, but I've met incels that are great communicators. So I have no connection to that. I have no way of believing, not only believing, but I have no access to that information. It's just your anecdotes. But once we have a empirical evidence for something, for example, with mental health, we have some empirical evidence. You believe in these statistics, right? You believe that incels have a below average mental health, and you also believe that
In a lot of cases, yeah.
yeah, and you also believe
A lot
that
of them suffer from depression, yeah.
it can be it. You also believe that it can impair your ability to communicate, to have bad mental health. So and therefore we have a common ground where we can both say, yeah, we agree that incels probably are being dragged down communication wise by their mental health. So, but then you say, when you then say an anecdote, there is no middle ground. We cannot talk about this. You can just tell me 100 stories, even if you've talked to 1,000 incels. It's just your anecdotes. There is no objective middle ground.
I can only go by the conversations I've had with other people, so. But I will agree that a lot of incels do have depression, and rightly so.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's not. I mean, it's never incorrect to be depressed, right? So I would never tell somebody stop being depressed. But I think there is good evidence that incels are below average communicators. Also, just by the fact that they seem to be socially isolated, also above average socially isolated, right? Just that already is a big factor in your communication skill.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't help if you're isolated all the time. You're not going to learn how to, talk to people because you're not interacting with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're not interacting with people, how are you going to practice your
Yeah,
communication skills?
yeah. So I think there's good reason to believe that there are below average communicators, and that affects your dating.
You could, yeah.
Since dating is big part of it is communication and social interaction. Okay, what else? I've read a comment that said Master Yoda is going to destroy you, is going to set you straight, and I want to get more of the Master Yoda energy.
Well, look, I can only base my views on what attracts women, and it's primarily your looks, just by observing female behaviour. Just, I mean, in the manosphere, if there's one thing that we all agree on, is that never listen to what a woman says. Watch, observe what she does. Observe her behaviour, and that's what I do. I think I think I'm a pretty observant person, and I stand by the view that women go by looks first, based on how I've observed women behave when they're in the company of a genetically superior man. I know what you said what I told you about the stories about my Chad friend, another good-looking guy, is anecdotal, but I've I've seen that happen tons of times, tons of times. It's if it's one off, okay, but it just happened to me so many times. And I also used to be on an internet dating site, and this is when I looks maxed, and I didn't get one match. I didn't get one date. Couldn't get one date, and because of my looks. So us men, the blackpill community, we base our views on really based on observable reality, what we see with our eyes. And that's not to say that just because you're not a good-looking guy, you won't get a woman. No, but if you're really ugly, like me, for example, Trying to find a find a woman's going to be a very frustrating experience for you. Very frustrating experience for you. Um, so look, I didn't come here to debate you to destroy you or anybody. No, no, no. I just came here just to put the case for the black pill. That's all.
Sure, but I just feel like, okay, two things. Firstly, you said never believe what a woman says. Just
That's right. Watch what she
believe
does.
what she
Yep.
does, and
Yep.
I that's very true because if you if you don't have a personal intimate connection with her, and you don't know that you can you are not in front of an honest person, but that goes for basically everyone. I don't see how. I just generally don't trust what people say about themselves. I mean, I don't trust you when you say about yourself that you're very that you're a good observer. I don't believe that. Um,
Well, that's up to you.
yeah,
That's up to you. But
but you wouldn't. I mean, you don't believe that about me either, right? If I would tell you that I'm a really good observer and I say exactly the opposite, you wouldn't believe me either, right?
well, yeah, look, I've no reason to lie. You know, I mean, I'm not.
No,
Someone's not. Yeah, I can only be as honest as I can. You
I,
know,
I
one thing
understand that.
yeah,
I don't say that you're lying. Really, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that
yeah,
at
fair
all.
enough.
I'm not saying that at all. I believe that you believe that you're a good observer, right? And in the same way, if I tell you, listen, Yoda, I'm a really good observer, and I've seen a million of times the exact opposite of what you're saying, what are we gonna do now? So what are we gonna do now? Are we just gonna tell each other for 2 hours what our experience has been and how great observers we are and how correct we are about what we saw? That's not gonna bring us anywhere. That's why I say that you guys are just used to talking to people that are on uh, that already believe what you believe. There is no you're not opening any channel of communication for somebody that doesn't already believe what you believe in. Do you see my problem here?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're lying. Really, please don't misunderstand
No,
me.
no,
I really
no,
don't say that
no,
you're
that's right.
lying.
Yeah. Look, I can only go by what I've observed and my life experience. You know what I mean? Like, one thing. Well, like I said before, yeah, I think I'm a good observer because one thing that I can observe, and I look, most normal people can, is being able to read body language. You've got to. You've got to be able to read female body language. I can read it, and it's easy. It's pretty straightforward. Um, and you have to know when a woman likes you, when a woman doesn't like you. Um, as I said before, most of my rejections were body language ones. Didn't even get to the stage for me to ask the woman out for her to say no. I already
Wait,
knew she
why
didn't
do
like
you
me.
even need to read body language? According to you, it's just about looks. So you don't even have to. You just look at her, and then you compare her looks to your looks, and then you already know why would you have to read body language.
No, but you have to read the body language to see whether she likes you or not, whether she's maintaining eye contact. Is she coming into your personal space? Is she allowing you to move in on her personal space?
But why is there a question
Um,
about whether she likes you or not? It's all objective on based on looks, right? If if you're below
that's
your
right.
so
Yeah, but well, the body language will indicate to you whether she's interested in you or not.
but you can know that without her, right? According to your theory.
Well, I wouldn't call it theory. It's more a fact.
Yeah, but
Body language is
okay,
probably
it's a fact. No, I'm not talking about body language. Why do you need body language? You can know if she is interested in you or not just by assessing. Wheat waffles can rate your looks, right? And then
yeah.
you have a point, and then you have points, and then you know that you look at the woman and she's, I don't know, a 6 out of 10, and then you know, okay, she's not gonna be interested in me. So you don't even have to read body language,
Yeah, but
right?
well, Lee Waffles, he's a fraud. That guy. That
No, but let's not
face
talk
running
about.
other men.
Okay,
Yeah,
some
I
other
can't stand
very
that
honest guy is gonna do your face review, and then you don't. Why do you have
guy.
to learn to read body language? You already know before. It's already set in stone,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but when I said body language, I just meant that that's how you um detect whether a woman's interested in you or not. Look, I mean, most normal people, I must assume you know how to read body language. I can read it. Most normal people can. Um, just
If you are good
the body
looking, she's
language
gonna be into you. If you're bad looking, she's not gonna be into you. Isn't that what you're saying?
based on her behaviour. Yes, on her behaviour towards you.
So that's where you determine. So it's not that objective. So it can be that some women find you more attractive and less attractive, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Right.
So basically, what you're trying to look for is if you're below that threshold or below. So you're seeing a 6 out of 10 woman, and then you're interacting with her, and then
Right.
you're basically checking if she perceives you as a 1 out of 10 or a 4 out of 10. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. Well, whether she perceives you that you're, whether she's sexually attracted to you or not. Yeah, you observe her body language. You have to.
But that is something subjective.
Um, it, yeah, it could be, but um, uh, yeah, it's but look, but it's not. No, I think it's more objective, really.
Yeah, I know.
More
That's what I'm
objective.
trying to get at. I think that you think it's objective, but then I'm like, why do you need body language? Why do you need her opinion? Why do you need to check for her what she thinks about you if you already know what she thinks about you before?
Right, but you won't know that until you actually interact with it. That's right.
Then it's subjective. Then it's based on her taste, basically, right?
Well, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, then it's taste.
Yeah,
Okay, so
that's right.
it's not you're not objectively to. It's not like objectively that you're below the threshold. It's just based on her taste, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Uh, and that's where you have to. So couldn't you just try to find someone who thinks that you're. So what does it do if somebody, if you are her type, let's say type, she finds you.
Right.
Other women think that you're a 1.5 out of 10, and she thinks that you're a 4 out of 10 or 5 out of 10.
Mhm.
uh isn't that going against this whole theory of points of looks?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's yeah. I mean, look, what one woman may find attractive, another woman will find unattractive. It's a very subjective thing.
Really? I feel
It's like
like Blackpill is saying the exact opposite. I feel like Blackpill is about height, face structure, symmetry. These are all not these. None of those things are subjective. And you have to be white. You have to be blonde, right?
yeah.
So
Well,
what?
there is some truth. There is some truth to the race pill. There is some truth to the race pill.
Wait,
They've
but
done studies. This is all. Yeah, I know. But, yeah, look, some black pillars go a little bit crazy into the looks thing, but look, I can see where they're coming from, though.
you just said that you think that women are looking based on type, that so that you, when you see a woman, you can't tell if she's attracted to you or not. You first have to check if you are her type or not, and the way you do that is by using body language, right?
Well, see how she's reacting to you. That's right. See how she's reacting to you.
Don't you think that goes a lot against what all the black pill is saying? You would basically
Um,
don't have to try when you believe in the looks theory.
well, some black pillars are a bit extreme about it. All you can do is, shoot your shot, just to approach the woman and see how he responds, see how she responds to you. Um, yeah, that's all you can do, I guess. because well, you talked before about being a good communicator. Whereas, well, body language is a form of non-verbal communication, and you've got to be able to read that as well. I mean, I do. I can read female body language. It's easy to tell.
Are you
And
a
look, I'll,
good nonverbal communicator? Do you think that uh you're I mean, the idea behind body language, the reason why you say that it's so good, right? The reason why you say it's basically superior to what she's saying is because it's really hard to fake body language, right? It's
yeah, yeah,
it's way
possibly.
harder than to fake speech.
That's right. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so you think that you're a very, let's say, in total you think about yourself that you're a very low value man, right?
In the physical sense, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just being honest. Just being honest. Being honest. Yeah,
Dating market wise, obviously, right?
yeah, yeah.
So do you think that this is also uh, very present in your um in your body language? Do you think that you don't you think that you're completely constantly communicating that to a woman that you meet?
Well, you can only respond. Okay, I think I know what you're getting at. Like say, like if you go up to a woman and you're all nervous and anxious, is that what you're referring to? Like if you're behaving nervous and anxious,
I mean, the
is
idea
that
behind
so?
body language is that your thoughts and feelings are being displayed by your body language, right?
That's true to a certain extent. Well, yeah. I mean, and I'll tell you why. A lot of men, including myself, you do get very nervous and very anxious when you're talking to a woman because you're observing her body language, and if you detect any hostile or dismissive body language or combative body language, you get nervous. Because you're saying to yourself, "Oh, this is going bad. What do I do?" And I wouldn't say you panic, but you go into sort of fight or flight mode.
No,
You tell this
I
girl,
get it,
you get it's going bad, and then obviously it'll show in your body language because you'll look scared.
of course.
Um, but
We've
that's
all
because
been
but
there.
that's because the woman's making you scared. She's making you nervous. You're observing her body language and you're reacting to it.
Yeah, but you're not. Oh, wait, but that's not true. It's you're not you. You're already nervous before you go there, right?
That's
I mean,
right.
everybody knows that. Like, it doesn't matter if you're successful with women or not. Uh, I remember I was like, I don't know, just like when you start having interest in women, you're like 13 or something. You're scared as shit. I mean, like you're really scared. It's like feels like the most important thing that you do in your whole life. But um, that's before you read her body language, right?
Yeah, of course. I suppose you rejection. You fear that you might make a fool of yourself. You might embarrass yourself. So
Yes,
yeah, so you have those, and that probably would show in your body language. And this, you look scared and nervous, and yeah, there's a
sure.
perfectly good reason for that.
So, but you're not scared because of her body language. It's you're already scared before you go there. So it's when we look at there we don't have a chicken and egg situation.
Well, you could say that. Yeah, but then you
So
see, if if a woman does give you good body language, then you'll be more relaxed. You'll be more confident because she's allowing you to be.
sure.
If she needs to be more friendly, well then no, well then your anxiety will disappear because this woman's being nice to you. Whereas if you're approaching a woman and you can see that she's got a dirty look on her face, and, you know, or she turns her back on you, or she gives you a death stare, well
Sure.
you're going to get very anxious and scared.
Sure. But what I'm getting at is that we are talking about, are incels bad communicators, right? So, and you said that body language is part of nonverbal communication. And we know that
Absolutely.
incels are really scared about the interactions. So they're basically constantly communicating that they're scared, right? And that's
Yeah,
not really helpful
absolutely.
for a conversation. So I think you agree with me that incels are not really good communicators. That
Some of them.
the objective factors make it. I'm not even saying that the reasons. I'm not even making any claims about the reasons. It could be because, I mean, all of the mental health stuff, the reasons of that, you can also bring it back to being an incel, right? You can say, yeah, they're depressed because they're an incel, or yeah, they have anxiety because they've been rejected so many times. But just when you look at it, right now, they are bad communicators on average.
Yeah. Some of them are, yeah.
On
Yeah.
average. On average. Do you disagree?
I, I agree and disagree if that makes any sense.
It doesn't. It feels
Yeah,
like you don't wanna say that you agree. Or if you have a contention, please let me know.
look, I agree to a point. I do. I do. I mean, look, yes, some incels are lousy
On
communicators.
average,
Absolutely.
don't say some. On average,
Hard to give it. It's hard. It's a
but
hard one.
I've given you great evidence that points to the direction that incels. I mean, I've given you so many data points that we both agree on, and the only conclusion from that is that they're on average worse communicators.
Yeah, maybe, perhaps.
Okay, I don't want to press you on that. We don't have to stay with that. Do you have other?
Yeah.
I think the other contention you had is that I've said that incels are in echo chambers, right?
Yes,
Which
and
is
I said that my rebuttal to that is we're just a community of men or dating challenged men who just sharing the same experiences.
mm-hmm.
But I think all people are guilty of being echo chambers or circle jerks because when you're talking to other people about other things like the economy, for example, you're going to say the same thing, aren't you? So incels and black pills aren't the only people guilty of being a circle jerk or an echo chamber. I think a lot of people are guilty of that.
I agree. I think it's also one of the a big problem of our time, especially in the world of algorithms, where our media is basically dictated by algorithms. But I feel like still, even in a society where incels, where everybody is to a certain extent spending their time in echo chambers, even in this time, I think incels are above average in echo chambers, just by the mere fact that they're really socially isolated. And it's not even, a lot of it is not even their fault or caused by them. It's also a lot about society not giving them. I think, for example, it's horrible that the Reddit removed the incel subreddits.
Yeah.
That's a big part of creating an echo chamber. I mean, I tried to get into incels.is. I've just I think you have to like apply for it, right? You basically like,
That's right. Yeah.
yeah. So and I basically, I was transparent. I said, yeah, I'm doing this series on streams about the topic, and I would like to talk to some people and read through the forum. And so I was just like completely transparent, and I got rejected, for example. I mean, I could have just lied. I could have just said, yeah, I'm an incel, blah, blah, blah. And, but I didn't want to do that. I don't know. So, yeah, I don't know what your critique was, that it's not echo chambers, it's just people blowing off steam.
it was just, like I said before, a bunch of guys just sharing the same similar experiences. Um,
I mean, isn't
yeah.
that an echo chamber? Isn't that like, for
Well,
example,
you
uh,
could say that.
yeah, there is not
Well,
really.
you could have you could have for example, you could have say a community of cancer survivors, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a group of people who've excuse me, sorry. You have a group of people who've who've suffered this terrible disease and were able to beat it. So they're going to be talking about the same things, aren't they? How what treatments they got? The chemotherapy, radiotherapy, all the other
Sure.
treatments they've got. So
Mm-hmm.
you could call them an echo chamber, couldn't you?
Sure, 100%.
Yeah. They're a community of people who've suffered a terrible disease, and they just found that their experiences they had in treating their disease.
Sure, sure, yeah. And uh, I would say, I mean, the difference there being that the rest of society also agrees that what the current measures or the current actions taken by these cancer survivors are the correct actions to take, and the way they see their own disease is the correct way to see it, right? So
Mm.
there is a little bit of a difference. So there is no dissonance between what the cancer survivors think about their disease and what the rest of society thinks about their disease, right? So it's just a place
Yeah,
to share. It's not a place to talk about the causes and the solutions for their problem, right?
yeah.
And I
I
feel like
know. So go ahead.
I feel like in incel communities, I mean, you have a cancer survivor group, right? And the main topics of that survivor group is going to be just the experiences of what they're going through, right? And but it's not going to be about what exactly causes cancer and how doctors are in cahoots with the pharma industry and their or any other theories about why cancer happens to them, right? Wouldn't you agree? So that it's like purely about the experience, and I would be way more okay with incels just talking about the experience, just like saying, yeah, I feel so shit about this, and then this happened, and yeah, I feel bad, and just talking about their feelings. But what the incel forums have become is a space where mostly it's about not about the experience itself, but also to a large extent about the reasons and the solutions for their problems. So in
Yeah.
that regard,
No.
it's yeah. Don't you think that's
Yeah.
true?
Yeah. I mean, look in blackpill incel forums, we do suggest solutions. I know us black pills are often accused of being quitters and doomers and nihilistic, and to some degree that is true. But we suggest solutions as well. I mean, if you're an unattractive guy, well, try and look max your way out of it. Um,
I
so we
mean,
do suggest solutions.
but that's where an echo chamber becomes problematic because your solutions and your analysis only comes from people that already believe the same things that you believe in.
That's right. But it's true. But we can only go by the reason why I suggested something like looks maxing because that's how a lot of former incels got themselves out of it by looks maxing. So we would share that on a forum.
Yeah, but then
We
maybe
suggest a
somebody like me will bring up another statistic and say, but look, way more important than looks, for example, is education. There is a statistic according to which women are really for women it's really important that their husband or their romantic partner is more educated than them, and women are getting more and more educated, and they're even surpassing men in terms of education since like I don't know 10 years or something like that, and that makes up for a lot of the for a lot of inceldom in the world. But you don't hear that because there's just this hyper focus on looks, and education obviously is something that you can change. So and people don't want to hear that in cell forums. Just have to say it as it is, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, what can I say? Just we just a group of men just sharing similar experiences. Yeah, I suppose you could call it an echo chamber, but I think I think one way it's healthy too, because at least men can vent their frustrations and 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 reassure themselves that they're not the only men that are going through it. I mean, before I discovered my first incel community, I thought it was just me, which is silly, of course. I mean, there's literally hundreds of millions of incel men all over the world, but um, when I discovered my first incel community or blackpill community, yeah, it gave me that comfort and reassurance that my lack of luck with women is not my fault. Um, so yeah, you could say there's a circle jerk or an echo chamber, but at the same time too, I think they provide men with a lot of comfort and reassurance. But their lack of luck with women is, for the most part, not their fault.
I mean,
But the
not
reason why I started my
saying that it's not their fault is also saying that they can't change anything about it, right? That's not really very
no,
reassuring.
no, they can do something about it, but there's no guarantee it's going to work.
But if they can do something about it, then to a certain extent, preserving that state is their fault, right?
Yeah, if they don't try and do something about it, but what if they have? What if they have tried to self-improve themselves, but still no one want them?
I'm just saying that when you say that it's not their fault, then automatically you're
Yeah, for the
saying that
most
they
part.
can't change anything about it.
Well, they can, but just only to a certain degree,
But if they
only
can,
to a certain point.
then them staying in that position, in the position that they are, is their fault.
Well, if they don't try and self-improve themselves, yeah, I'll agree with that. If they don't
Then which one is
do
it?
anything just to self-improve,
Which one is it? Is it their fault or is it not?
for the most part, no, it isn't their fault.
Okay, so for the
For
most
the most
part, they
part,
can't do anything about it to get out of it, right?
not a lot. Some of them.
Okay, and I'm saying that that's not really reassuring to a person to tell a person that they can't do anything about it.
Sometimes you got to be honest. Sometimes the truth isn't always, it's not always nice. Life isn't fair. Life
Sure,
isn't fair.
sure, but you just
I'd rather be
said that
told the
it
truth.
was reassuring you that it's not your fault, and I said that it's not always reassuring that something. Actually, it's not really reassuring that something is not your fault.
Well, yeah, but you want to be blamed for something that's not your fault? That's no, that's how can a physically unattractive man be blamed for having no luck with women? That's not his fault.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
he's the point.
objective. It's objectively true that you have a guy. He's looks wise a 4 out of 10. He is education wise a 4 out of 10, and he's money wise a 4 out of 10, and he's status wise a 4 out of 10, and he's communication wise a 4 out of 10, and he's charisma wise a 4 out of 10. So then you just have a number of women who would be interested in him in the whole world, okay, or in the whole space where he he goes around. And by increasing each of these factors, he can increase the amount of women that are attracted to him, right?
He does some self improvement.
So all of these
You
factors,
increase his chance.
but all of these factors are basically mutable, right? If he's not, for example, if he has not severe mental health issues, or if he doesn't have a handicap, for example. So there's very very rare cases where one of them is really immutable, right? Completely, he will always stay a 4 out of 10. So communication wise, for example, if he has autism, chances are that he's not going to be able to significantly improve his communication. Even there he could improve it slightly, right? Or if he has like a physical handicap, if he's like Stephen Hawking or something like that, right? His physical abilities are going to be really, really limited. But that's so few cases, and then again, it's only just one factor out of like 6. And all of the other ones he can still change, and that would still increase his chances by a lot.
Yeah, it depends on the individual guy. It really does. On the individual. But just some men in the incel community are just so unattractive. Just no amount of self work will make them attractive to women. It's sad. I feel sorry for those guys. I mean, I'm one of them. It is what it is, and just I think it's best men be told the truth. I think rather than giving false hope based on blind optimism. Tell people the truth. You know, you can say it a nice way, but you don't give them false hope either. That's just as toxic. That's why we have a lot of that's why we in the black pill incel community have a big problem with pickup artists. They promise all this stuff that if you learn game, you know, you pick up lots of hot women. No, won't. Can't teach attraction. You can't teach it. You're either an attractive man or you're not.
You don't believe that your communication with a person shapes your attractiveness?
It it contributes, but it's not the major thing. The women,
So isn't that
like,
already enough? So how many points can it increase your attractiveness? Do you think that if you are a I don't know, a 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10, and you go to a woman and you make her laugh, and you are saying stuff that makes her curious and that she thinks is interesting, don't you think that would increase your looks by 1 point, 2 points? Have you never experienced that with
no,
women? Have you never experienced it with women where you saw a woman and just the way that she was like, the first time you saw her, you were not really like, oh my god, she's really beautiful, but then after you met her, you saw her charisma, the way she talks, and like just the way she is, and that made her more and more attractive?
well, me personally, yeah, there's women who I've interacted with, and look, I initially didn't find that physically attractive, but then they had other qualities and characteristics that made them attractive, like their personality, their warmth, their femininity.
So
Um,
so do you think that's different for women? Do you think that women don't have the same thing happening to them?
Theoretically, but then
Wait, why do you say
you still got to
theoretically?
pass. Well, you could meet a woman who, although she may not be attracted to you physically, you might get to like your personality. And there
No,
are
no, no,
some
no,
women out
no.
there,
I'm
but
talking about increasing your points. Okay, she considered you a 5 out of 10. Then she has a
right,
conversation with you for, I don't know, an hour. You make her laugh. You're interesting. You're funny. You're charismatic. What do you think? How much can your points increase in that time, in 1 hour? 1 point, 2 point. Is that possible? Isn't that something that you have
poss
experienced with a woman as well?
possibly, but
Why do you say possibly?
because it depends on the woman. It
Do you
depends
think that is possible? Do you think that this is possible? Don't, if you say it depends on the woman, then you just have to say yes. Because if it depends on the woman, there is at least one woman where this would happen. So it's possible that this happens, right?
yes, some
Okay.
cases.
Why say you? I feel like that's a the way you're communicating is that uh you have to agree to something just logically, but then you slip in some people, depends on the individual, possibly. You see how that's always trying to undermine the fact that you actually agree, but you're trying to build in a small door where you can escape from it, but actually you already agree.
Yeah, it's
Okay, so
yeah.
why do you think it's
Communication.
wrong for we I would like to talk to you, like you talked about PUAs. Why do you think it's wrong for PUAs to teach I mean, I don't like PUAs either that much. I think most of them are full of shit, but I think it's really important to
Oh,
teach people communication. uh, I think you can teach people good communication, and you can also teach people to just approach women that you see somewhere where you're sitting in the cafe or in a bar or wherever you are. You can teach people to just go there and talk to a woman.
yeah, the problem I have with PUAs is that you understand what the main premise of PUA is. They claim that if you can press the right emotional buttons on a woman, that will get her to overlook your physical shortcomings and get her to sleep with you. It doesn't work. If you don't pass that minimum looks threshold, it really doesn't matter.
You just agreed with me that it would increase your points. So you are saying you're a self-proclaimed
It could,
1.5
it,
out of 10. You said, right?
yes,
So
definitely.
you said that you did looks max, and that brought you
Yep,
to a 4 out of 10, right?
yep.
And then you also agreed that communication can increase your points. At least you have experienced that, and I think everybody has. That it can increase your own points by 1 or 2 points, right?
It could in some situations. Yes, in some
It's
situations,
possible. When I ask you if
it's
it's
possible.
possible, the moment you say it could, it's then you can just say yes, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yes.
that would bring you from a 1.5 to a 6.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Wait, we just did the
um,
math, right?
yeah, but uh,
So it's not.
yeah, but
It's
you've
yeah. Why? Where's the contention? And there's plenty of women for which you see plenty of 6 out of 10 guys just by looks having girlfriends and being in relationships.
oh yeah. No, no. Look, I mean, although I know some black pillars say, "Oh, you got to be at least an 8 out of 10 to attract them." No, that's too extreme. Um, I think me personally, my view is as long as as a man, as long as you're at least average looking. Look, I'm not going to give arbitrary ratings to other men. At the end of the day, it's women who are the ultimate judges of male attractiveness. But I think as a man, at least if you're at least average looking, you've got a chance. But anything below average, it becomes very tough. Very, very tough.
I'm
Very
not saying
hard.
it's not tough. I'm not saying it's not tough. I'm agreeing with you that it's harder for a worse looking man. Everything's a little bit harder. That's just the way it is, right? And it's the same for where you've been born, right? So if you're born in a poor third world country, yeah, shit's way harder, right? So there's lots of baggage that we just carry from birth, where for some people it's way easier. Just who are your parents? If your parents are really rich, it's stuff is way easier. Everything's way easier, right? But that's just the cards that we've been dealt by life. That's just
Absolutely.
like you it makes absolutely no sense to complain about that. You can try to make the
Absolutely.
world a better place where maybe it's not that arbitrary, right? You can that's a good approach. You could you could for example argue for a society that is not that focused on looks, right? But I'm not saying that it's not harder. I'm just saying that it's not over. It's even in your age, it's still within your reach to become a 6 out of 10.
Oh, don't know about that.
We just
um,
we just did the
but look,
math.
yeah, but I don't know. I can only go by my experience, what I've observed. Um, and look at, you know, yeah, no, I do go on that I'm physically unattractive, but I'm just being honest. I mean, I think the worst lie a person can tell is when they lie to themselves, and I definitely don't lie to, if I bomb out with a woman, I'm honest about saying, yeah, look, no, I approached her, she rejected me. Straight out. Why lie? Why pretend I'm some sort of Casanova womanizer when I'm not? I've got to be honest. You
I
got to be
never
honest with
said any.
yourself.
Wait, I don't feel like you're engaging at all with what I've just said.
But you just said I could knock myself up to a 6. No, I don't think so. I did try to look
I,
max. I only got up to
I
about
did.
a
You told
12.
me that you became a 4 with looks maxing.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that by becoming a better communicator, earning more money, getting more educated, or forget the money part, just by getting more educated and learning to make better communication, work on mental health, I think that would make you easily you can get 2 points from that. I'm 100% sure. And
Um,
you also agreed with me that you can get 2 points from that because you have experienced the same thing with women, right? Do you know what crazy eyes are in women?
no, I've heard the expression, but what does it mean?
Yeah, so it's like when there's it's not only for women, it's also for people, but it's mostly used for women where you just like look her in the eyes and you just see some craziness. So and for most guys it's a big turn, it's a real big turn off. Um and it just reduces her attractiveness by at least 2-3 points, right? So, and the same
Okay,
thing also goes the other way. So you can have, for example, I've brought up this example a lot of times in the stream, is the hot teacher fantasy or the nurse fantasy or uniforms or whatever, like whatever people have like context around the physical attractiveness, around what they find attractive, just increases or decreases the attractiveness by a significant amount. So if you are able to looks max to a 4 out of 10, you're easily within reach of a 1 out of 10 back to a 1 out of 10 or up to a 6 or 7 out of 10. Not looks wise, just as a complete package when a woman gets to meet you. I mean, there is one argument that you are not really an incel. It's the story where this prostitute that you had sex with gave you a few freebies, right? So
That's right. Yeah.
so that's already right.
Well, I don't know.
Even
Maybe it
without
might have
looks
been pity.
maxing, you did that.
Yeah, it could have been pity sex. I don't know. Who knows? Or maybe she liked me. Yeah, yeah. She gave me a few free ones outside of it, which was nice of her. Yeah. Um, yeah. So at least one woman found me attractive. So yeah, she gave me a few free ones outside of her work. So,
After she met you, right? So she
well,
met
she had
you,
to admit,
she spent time with
as a
you.
client, as a
Yeah.
client. Yeah, and then yeah. But that was after I first met her in 2008, November 2008, and years later, quite unsolicited. Sorry, no pun intended. She gives me her email address. We exchanged a few emails, and she gives me a phone number. And then one day she says, "Oh, look, I've got a day off work. You want to meet at this bar?" So we did, and she bought me a drink. I bought her one, and yeah, she took me home to her place, and yeah, we had sex.
Yeah, there you
But
go.
good, fun.
And you weren't looks maxed at the time, right?
No, 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 no.
Yeah, so you did that while being a self-proclaimed 1 out of 10, right?
Yep, yep.
So now imagine what you can do when you're a looks max to a 4 out of 10 and then education maxed and communication maxed and therapy maxed.
Well, there's nothing wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with the way I communicate to women. I know how to talk to them, and as I said, when I've interacted with women, just see what I have in common with them, see if I have some common grounds,
I
ask them
mean,
what they like to do and stuff like that. And, I think but see, with communication, just like attraction, it's got to be a two-way street. I mean, you could have the best communication skills in the world, but what if the woman that you're talking to, she's not responding, she's ignoring you,
but
which has happened to me many times.
already in this conversation, you have agreed that you're already starting off with bad communication. You've said that a big part of communication is nonverbal communication, and we have agreed that it's really
Right,
difficult to fake nonverbal communication, right? And that part
right.
is already really bad right off the get go.
Well, no, I don't know how to communicate to women or anybody. But as poor communication's got to just like attraction, it's got to be a two-way street. What's the point if you're talking to a woman and she's ignoring you?
Yeah, but it's a two-way street. You're already starting off really bad. You're basically initiating the conversation, and it's already starting
Right.
off really bad.
Or how is starting off bad?
Because you're already with your body language and with your tone of voice and all the things that you can't you have really big difficulties controlling. You're already sending off all of the signals that come from what you think about what's going to happen, because you already get into the when I would send you now, when we would both go out and I would tell you, okay, there is this woman, don't you want to talk to her, and or you decide to talk to her, you would already go there because of everything that you believe in, because of all the things that you believe in, you would already go there believing that you're never gonna get her, right? That's just a fact.
Well, depends. I mean, if I go up to her, I'll see how she reacts.
Wait. You believe
Uh,
that you could just go to a woman and get her to be with you? Then you're not an incel. Then
well,
you're a fake
no,
cell.
I'm definitely not a fake. So, no, obviously
So
you approach a woman, you see her body language, and if
do you
it's
believe that you could get a woman now or not?
probably not, no.
Okay, so you don't believe that. So that's that, and the fact that you don't believe that already has a big impact on your communication with her. You also just don't disagree with that, right? You just said that the nonverbal communication is really important, is a big part of the conversation, and
Well, it is.
that part is also really hard to fake. So you're already initiating a conversation with really bad signals of communication, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, you're going to react to a situation. I mean, if
No, you
obviously if you
initiate.
the conversation, yeah.
Yes. So it's the first interaction comes from you.
Okay, well, obviously you go up to a woman, you introduce yourself, hi,
Yes.
you ask her name, you ask her no name, and you
And the
ask
way you
about
say
herself. Nothing personal.
yes.
You just ask her general stuff like what do you like to do, how you like to have fun, and
Why nothing personal?
nothing. It's intrusive. It's intrusive. If you
You
go
have
up
to
to a
be
woman and ask you,
you have to intimacy is can only be created by being intrusive.
well, I
You have
don't
to
think a woman would
intrude
like
into
it.
the intimate space of somebody else. Of course not you alone. The other person has to basically you tango into it, but I mean, I don't want to give you dating advice. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not here for that.
Yeah, no, no, no.
And I'm
Yeah.
not here to analyze behavior or blah blah. But just what I'm saying, just theoretically, we have already stated that you are. It's very likely that you are communicating negative signals to the other person when you meet that other person, right?
Well, but only in response to the negative they've given me. So obviously, if a woman gives me a dirty look,
But you initiated the conversation. She hasn't even seen you.
well, she's going to see you when you go up to her.
Yeah.
Um, so she's going to see you, and then depending on the body language that I see, if it's hostile, then and this is perfectly normal. Obviously, you're going to get anxious
Who's sending the
and
first
nervous,
signal?
but in
If
terms
you
of
approach if you approach a woman, who's sending the first communicative signal? You or her?
Well, obviously you are because you like her and you want to, but I don't. Yeah.
No, just by or even two people in general. I go up to someone, talk to that person, who's sending the first communicative signal.
Obviously, you are the person initiating the contact.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm saying your initial approach is already tainted by the fact that you don't believe that you can ever it's possible that a woman that you find attractive or that you want would ever want you. That's already in your head before you go there. And
Well, that's because
you
of
are
all the
communicating
rejection
that to the other. I don't care why that's the case. That's just a fact, right?
Well, yeah, but that's because of all the rejection you've copped. When you've had no success with
Wait,
women,
that's okay. That's okay. It
you know,
might be
you
because it might be because of your experience. I agree.
um,
But
of course, you're not going to be confident, because you've had no success. I mean, to me, confidence is the byproduct of success. You need the success first before the confidence. I'm sorry, there's no other way around it.
the world
Confidence,
doesn't.
but confidence without success is just delusion.
Wait,
You've
before
got to
we
have
get there.
success first.
Okay, before now you're getting into the reasons. You're trying to. Okay, but you agree that you are already sending negative signals before you have even the moment you start the interaction, right? So you already that's already we can agree upon that, right? So you're not that would be something you would have to max out, right? That would be something that you would have to heavily work on, correct?
Well, I mean, when I've approached women, I've done it. I've done it in a very not threatening, not a very passive way.
No, 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 no.
I,
We have already decided now that this is the case for you right now, right? Just on a theoretical level.
well, yeah, but that's well, my body language that I give out to women is only in response to theirs.
We have already said
But
that you are the first, you giving the first signal.
right, but I can only react to the body language I get from her.
We've already said that you give the first signal, so there is no reaction.
Yeah.
So you're giving out a
Well,
bad signal, you're getting a bad signal back.
well,
So that's what we already agreed on. You're the
yeah,
one initiating the conversation, right?
that's right. Correct.
Okay, so that would be something that you would have to work on, right?
Well, possibly. Yeah, I guess.
Why
Um,
possibly? I mean, that's just follows directly from everything we
that
said before.
but that's not the reason why I'm getting rejected. It's not because of the way I
I'm not saying
because of my
that. I'm
body.
not saying that, but that's part of it, right? That's contributing to it, right? No matter if it's really small or really big.
I just to me, it's just my look.
Is it you're not answering my question. That's already a bad communication style, not to answer it direct,
Oh,
not to communicate
okay.
directly.
Well, so you're saying, so you're asking, is my body language detrimental? Is that what you're saying? Is that what's
I mean, yeah.
is that what
So everything that you're basically everything that is nonverbal in your communication is already pretty messed up because of your presuppositions of what's going to happen. If you don't have
But
these
I'm
if you don't have these presuppositions, you would not be an incel, or you would not be blackpilled.
well, I can only go by past experience.
I don't care where it's coming from. That's not what we're talking about. We can talk about it afterwards. We can talk about it right after this. But I first want you to agree that that you are communicating that this is not going to happen and it's really bad and that this makes no sense that you just approached her. That's what you're communicating to her because that's what you believe, right? And you agreed that you said that that's the way you read women because it's not easy to fake body language because you're basically not able to hide your body language. Don't believe what she says, believe her body language, right? That was your words.
What's her actions? But that is
Yeah,
her
but you
words,
said
isn't
that
her,
you have to
her
look at her
actions.
body language in order to see if
Absolutely,
she wants you or not, right?
absolutely. I mean, you have to. It's
Okay,
just
and
that's common sense.
exactly. And people also see your body language and see the tonality in your voice and see also that you, for example, scared to intrude in people's intrude and to ask personal stuff, right?
Uh, I don't think women would like you. I mean, for example, if you're interacting with a woman that you have an interest in, I don't think she's gonna
Could
like it
it
if you ask that
could
if you
it
ask her how many sexual partners she's had before you. I don't
could
think
a
she'd like
chat do
that.
that? Could a chat get away with that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, right? So you're not thinking that it's
Okay.
generally wrong. You're just thinking it's wrong because you're not attractive enough, right?
That's right.
That's right. So that's what I'm talking about. So the reason why the all of the communication that you're doing is tainted by the assumption that it's not going to work out and that she doesn't want you. So everything you're doing and everything you're saying is has this as a presupposition underlying baked into it basically, and
What
that
was it?
makes for a bad communication. And I think
Well,
you also agree with that.
I don't know about that. I mean, you know, I can only react to how people react to me. You know what I mean? Obviously,
You don't stop saying that. We already said that you are the one initiating. You're not reacting to anything. You might be acting this way because of past experience, but that's not what we're talking about right now. We can talk about that. Okay, but do you agree that you're communicating in a detrimental way to your success? That your communication is detrimental to the chances of you being successful?
what you mean in terms of my body language?
Yes, your body language and your whole communication.
Well, there's nothing wrong with my communication,
Bro,
uh,
don't make me repeat
you
everything
can't.
again.
Yeah, but you can't talk your way into a woman's pants. You just can't do it.
Wait,
You,
stop saying these platitudes. Please. We've you do you agree? I can't repeat everything.
yeah, sure.
At this point, I feel like you're either please engage with what I'm saying. You can have a contention. You can say if it's wrong what I'm saying, but it just directly follows from what we've both agreed upon. Do you think that you thinking that it's not going to work out has any detrimental effect whatsoever on your communication?
Well, it could because obviously you're not gonna be very confident in the way you're not gonna have much confidence in the way you
Yeah,
speak
yeah,
because
yeah.
well,
And
but
I'm not saying that it's not because you've been rejected 100 times before. We can talk about that if it's because of that.
yeah,
But I'm just talking about the mere fact that low confidence is messing up your communication.
well, it doesn't help. But look, I can look. Okay, you could call this anecdotal, but this happened to me a couple of times. I've talked to women over the phone, right? This is women that I was about to meet on a blind date.
I will say it's
They love the
anecdotal.
sound.
Yeah.
Well, it's happened to me a few times, but anyway,
Mm-hmm.
they love the sound of my voice. They liked everything I liked until they saw me in person and they did a full 180 on me. I'll give you a classic example, right? July 1999, I placed an ad in the Lonely Hearts column.
Wait. Before
Right.
you go into that example, I get you.
Sure.
I've heard that, but it's a great example. Let's talk about that example.
All
So
right. What happened was she was an Irish woman. You could tell from the accent. Over the phone, she loved the sound of my voice. She liked everything I liked, and we were forming a real connection until she saw me in person, and then she did a full 180 on me. And all she could do for the miserable 90 minutes that I spent with her, I should have cut the date short. All she could do was complain about how ex-husband was an alcoholic and he was no good in bed. Like I don't solicit that kind of information from women. When I talk to them, I want to talk about happy stuff. But I think she was doing that just to get rid of me. Right? So how do you explain how when I spoke to her over the phone, she liked my communication skills, but when she saw me in person, she didn't like me anymore.
Okay, first of all, that's a completely different situation than most interactions are and should be, right? I don't think that you should build up everything without seeing the way a person looks, okay? So that's the first thing. Secondly, again, you're saying she made a full 180 on you. You
That's
don't
still
know
what
if
she
she
told
did
me.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, but she still went on a date with you, right? And I mean, this happened. You already say that this happened to you a few times. So I'm 100% sure. I mean, you can tell me. Weren't you scared as shit that she was going to meet you and then not want you? Wasn't that a worry,
Of course.
or is that something that you were like afterwards? You were like, maybe it was because the way I looked. But I'm pretty sure that already you've said in a podcast or in an interview, you said that the first time you realized that you're an incel was when you were in kindergarten or something like that. So you were already pretty in a really early age. You were pretty aware of or you were thinking that you were really aware of the way you look. And so you can tell me that you were not scared of her not wanting you after meeting you.
Of course. We all have a fear of rejection. Every human being does. Anyone who says they don't fear rejection is a liar. Okay. No, but when I
No,
spoke to her
some
over the phone,
situations
actually,
you
I was
don't feel fear of rejection.
yeah. But when I was talking to her over the phone, I was really confident. I said, "Oh wow, we're going to really hit it off." And then when she saw what I looked like, she I wouldn't say she was a bitch, but she just wasn't very nice to me anymore.
But this doesn't
She was
prove
a full-on.
anything. I mean, again, it's just an anecdote and it doesn't prove anything. And also, the story in this story, it can happen exactly what I said would happen, can also happen in your story. It's just that when you're on the phone, you're really confident, but then when you meet her, you're a completely different person.
But only in
I
response
mean,
to her.
I've
Anyway,
come again.
yeah, but when I was talking to her over the phone, I was confident. But then when she met me,
Yeah,
but
so
she was the
when
one who wanted to talk. But she was the one who talked about negative stuff. I wanted to keep it happy and upbeat.
I don't care about
I
that.
didn't. I didn't.
That's not
I
important.
didn't ask her. Yeah, no,
That's
but
not important
I
to
didn't
our
ask.
conversation.
Yeah,
That's
I know,
that's
but
besides the point. What's important is, do you agree that you or what do you think was your confidence level when you were on the phone, and what was your confidence level when you met her in real life?
on the phone it was pretty high.
Okay, and
Because
in real life,
and when she did a full 180, when she did the
no.
180 on
Before
me, then
that, before that, you were walking to the
uh,
date. On the way to the date, what
right,
was your confidence level
wasn't
compared
too
to on
bad
the
to be
phone?
honest.
Compared to on the phone.
I was still reasonably confident.
Okay,
Not.
okay.
I was
Was
still
it higher
confident.
or
But then
lower? Higher or lower or the
no,
same?
no, I say about the same to be honest, because
Okay,
of the way we
then
connected over the phone.
okay,
But
then
then
you were not a black pillar at the time?
um, yeah, it was. Yeah.
Okay, how can it be that her meeting you in person, seeing how you look like would not impact your confidence level if you think that looks is everything? I don't believe that. I'm sorry. That's the first time I really have to say it. I don't believe you that you were exactly as confident or even close to the same confidence as you were on the phone. Or you
I
were not
mean,
a black pillar, or you were not an incel, but these two things are mutually exclusive.
well, I was still an incel, and no, I think I, no, I was still a black pillar then. I mean, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what the term was back then. But
Sure. So
I
how
was
does it
definitely.
how did it not affect your confidence level that you would know that she would now see that you're not as no, you're not attractive guy?
Well, destroys your confidence. I mean,
Yeah, but you're just saying that it's not destroying your confidence, that you were just the same.
yeah, no, that's prior to me meeting her. But then
How is that possible?
when
Then you became a black pillar after you met her?
no, I gave black pill after many, not just that, just lots of other experiences, not just that one, plenty of other ones as well.
I think yeah, I think we were talking past each other, or you're I don't know. So you talk to her on the phone. You have a very high confidence
Yep,
level. Okay?
absolutely. Yep,
Then
absolutely. Yep,
you're going to meet her, right? And she has never
right.
seen
Yep,
you. And you believe
that's right.
that looks is everything. So none of your good communication and fun you had on the phone matters. She's just gonna look at your looks and then decide, right? And you don't think that you're good looking. And you tell him you went into that conversation confidently. And you were an incel at the time, and you were a black pillar. That's not possible. That's
Yeah,
that's that's all that's mutually exclusive. That's not possible. Either the only way this is possible is that at the time you were not a black pillar and you didn't believe that looks is everything, and you thought, hey, we had a good conversation, we had a good chat, and now we're gonna meet, and now it's gonna be really great as well, right? But a black pillar would say, man, I'm still like 1 out of 10. She's just gonna reject me. Why would you go there happily? Why would you go there confidently? Doesn't make any
well,
sense.
well, I suppose experiences like that, which I've had many of, may help me black pill. I mean,
At the time,
as I
were
was
you a black
growing
pillar?
up,
You said you were a black pillar.
well, with regards to that blind date I had, no, I mean, I didn't know what the black pill was back then.
Okay,
It
if
wasn't.
you're not a black pillar at the time, then this is not a good example because right now you are, and we're talking about right now. Then it's not a good example. Then it's just not a. Then it's even a better example for what I'm proposing is that you're not gonna be a good communicator if you believe that looks makes things everything, and sorry, that looks is everything, and you are right now not a good communicator. Then it's not a good example because at the time you might have been as well a good communicator.
Yeah, but it's not women. It's your communication skills is not what attracts women. It's your looks.
Oh my
Women
god.
don't have sex.
Oh my god.
Women
You
don't. Well, hang on. Look. Okay, I know it's an extreme example. Look at that Jeremy Mix guy in America. That ex criminal that got released by jail. You ever listen to him talk? He sounds like a retard,
I don't know who that
but he's
is.
good looking. Look him up. He came out a couple of years
I
ago.
don't want to look him up.
Uh,
I just want you to engage with what I'm saying. And if you say that it's wrong, tell me it's wrong. But it makes no sense what you're saying. It makes absolutely no sense. I'm sorry. It really makes
why
no
doesn't make
sense. It makes no sense.
why doesn't
It
make
makes no sense for you to be confident about going into an interaction with a woman while at the same time claiming that you're an incel and blackpilled. That makes absolutely no sense. That both of these things are mutually exclusive. If you want to get her, if you want to get with her, if you want to be with her, and you think that you have no chances, there is no which is what being an incel blackpilled incel means, believing that you don't have any chances. There is no way that you can get into that interaction confidently. That's just not possible.
well, I can only tell you what happened. Um, when I was talking over the phone, yeah, there was nothing wrong with my communicate. We had a great conversation. I could talk the legs off the chair. You know, but when she met me, she did the biggest 180 on me. Like going in when I went to the date, I was feeling reasonably confident.
Can you solve
Yeah,
can you solve this paradox for me of somebody being incel blackpilled and going confidently on a date? Can you solve this paradox for me? How is that possible? How can a blackpilled incel go confidently to a date?
Just depends on his previous success.
If he has success, you think he's still an incel? If he was a really successful guy before,
Oh no, I'm
then he's
what
not
I
an
refer
incel,
to
right?
more like the hardcore incels like me, like the hardcore ones. Um, yeah, look, I mean, I was, obviously as I went to the date, I still felt confident because of the way we interacted over the phone. But then when she saw what I looked like, and then she changed,
So you were not
my
blackpilled
confidence,
or not blackpilled enough, right? So you thought
probably not
that
blackpilled enough. Yeah, probably not
okay,
blackpilled enough.
okay, but then that's not a good example because now you are, and we're talking about your communication skills now, right? Then that's not a relevant example at all,
Yeah, but
right?
it's happened to me. Well, it's happened to me a lot.
I
So
don't care. I don't care. Right now you are blackpilled, right? Right now you're blackpilled. So
absolutely.
right now there is no way that you can go confidently to a date, and there is no way that you can give any type of positive communication to a woman, right?
Um, I mean, what am I going to do if I go up to a woman and talk to her? What am I going to say to her if I got no chance with her? I'm just wasting her
Yeah, that's
time
what
and
I'm
my time.
saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what you're also communicating to that other person. You don't think you can be
Well, that's right.
intrusive. You don't think that you can be you can ask personal questions. You already with your body language are already showing off that you don't think that this is going to work out. Wait, but just admitting that is not gonna, like, I'm not even saying that it's not because you've been rejected in the past. Obviously, for a really good looking guy who has never had rejection in his life before, he doesn't even have to deal with that problem. Okay?
Right.
But
Right.
most people have had to deal with that problem. And most people fell down, stood up, fell down, stood up. I mean, most people have been rejected the first time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Some people haven't, some people got lucky, but most people have dealt with rejection. And most people have been rejected more times than they have been that they have gotten positive feedback.
Absolutely. Yeah, of course.
But you can't tell me that you're a great communicator and that you're doing everything right already, and that you don't have to max on that charisma level and on that confidence level and on that communication level. You already got it all. If you're at the same time black pilled, that doesn't make any sense. That's
Um,
just mutually exclusive. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
no, yeah, you're fine. Look, I mean, you know, you can only, as I said before, you can only respond. I mean, you can only respond to the way women respond to you. You know? So, if a woman's giving you bad body language, sorry,
You mean
excuse
in the
excuse
past,
me.
right? You mean so you can only be as confident as the amount of rejections or success you've had, right? That's what you mean.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And to a certain extent I agree. But you could also fix that without getting success, right? You could become better at communicating with people in general without having the success. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, well, I can talk to anyone. I mean, in one of my previous jobs, I used to be the payroll. I used to do the pays, and you have to talk to people at all levels of the company, from the CEO right down to the guys on the factory floor. So you got to learn how to talk to people. So I can talk the legs off of a chair, and and even some of the women who rejected me, but they did it nicely. They gave me a good 30 minutes of their time because I was talking to them. They didn't mind talking to me. They weren't attracted to me, but they still gave me 30 minutes of their time because I talked. They didn't mind talking to me. So I mean, nothing wrong with my communication skills. I mean, if a woman doesn't like me, she doesn't
There
like
is
me. Nothing I
nothing
can do
wrong
about
with
it.
the way you're communicating. Are you really telling me that? After all we've said now,
Yeah,
you
I
think
could
that
talk the legs off.
you
I could
don't
talk the
think
legs
that
off a chair.
you
I could
don't
talk the
you
legs
don't
off
think,
of a chair.
but that's not good communication. That's actually the opposite of good communication.
Why is that?
Because you just talk for talking. It's not to create any form of rapport or intimacy.
Oh, but you can't tuck your way into a woman's pants. You just can't.
You just keep repeating these platitudes.
No,
It's you
well, that's
if you
it.
don't have good arguments for that, then why
Well,
just repeat these platitudes? I mean, it sounds like if I'm what I try to do is basically show you that it will have a detrimental effect on your chances. And you agree with that. You agree that low confidence is going to decrease your chances, right?
it doesn't help. Yeah, good. It doesn't help. It's not beneficial. It won't help. But but then you got to ask why doesn't the person have confidence? See,
That was not the
one thing us
topic. That was not what we were
yeah,
talking about. We can talk about that. I agree that that's because you don't have big confidence, because you have been rejected in the past, right?
yeah,
But that's not what.
absolutely.
But you can't even admit. Let's say I'm saying you have an injured arm. That's why you're not able to fight really good, and you keep saying, "Yeah, I've been hurt in a fight before. That's why. That's why." Yeah, but you still have to get your arm fixed.
That's right. Yeah,
So let's first agree that you have the problem of a broken arm, but you keep flip flopping between I don't have a problem, and once I pin you down that you do have a problem, then you say, yeah, but you know why I have this problem? Because of before, because I've been rejected before. But it's a mess. Okay, first let's agree that you have a problem, and then we can also talk about the reasons. But why are we talking about the reasons if you don't have a problem?
well, yeah. I don't know. Well, I guess that's something we'll have to agree to disagree on.
Okay.
Uh,
Um. What do you think in general about what do you think in general about this project that I'm doing? Um. What do you think from
well,
about the interviews so far? You are one of my guests that have I know that you have watched some stuff. And I would like to get your opinion on it as somebody who's part of the community and yeah.
oh well, if it's going to help out guys in the black pill incel community. Yeah, great. I'm all for it. Um, um, yeah, it's going to be beneficial to them. Yeah,
Do you think so?
well, I hope it is. Um, but I think it's good that you're talking to members of the black pill community because what I hate, and look, you're not guilty of this. You get these YouTube content creators; they really demonize and vilify incels, particularly after you know in America, not so much in Europe or Australia where I live, where I'm from. You know, sometimes some crazy incels they go crazy and they harm a lot of people. You know, like Elliot Roger, for example, and America seems to happen a fair bit. Um, they make out that all incels they're all misogynists. They're all going to commit acts of violence. That's yeah. You know, what they do is these people who vilify incels they cherry pick the worst posts from the most cringeworthy incels and come to the conclusion that all incels are like that. They're not. But at least in fairness to you, at least you're interviewing other incels and not demonizing the whole community. So I'll give you credit for that. At least at least you're investigating the at least you're doing some investigation. investigative work into the incel community rather than just vilifying them.
But I would like to hear. Yeah, thank you. But what would you? I mean, I feel like you're holding back with your critique. I feel like there's some. Yeah, I feel like you don't. Yeah, I don't know. Do you? Are you holding back with your critique? Because you're saying at least,
Well,
and when you say at least, I mean, it sounds like there is some stuff that
well,
you
no, no,
would
no,
like to
no,
see differently.
no. At least, look, you're not demonizing. You're not demonizing all themselves. At least you're going to the effort to talking to members of the incel community. You're not just lazily cherry picking some terrible posts from some horrible incels. At least you're talking to some of these guys, which is good. I respect that.
But now I want to hear the but. I want to hear.
Yep.
I mean, if you don't want to say it, it's all right. It's completely okay. I just
No,
thought
no.
that
Look, no. I try to be respectful and to you, even though I don't agree with you on some things. And at the end of the day, this is your live stream, and I try to be polite and respectful. And I disagree with some of your things, um, but at least you're respectful about it.
you don't want to intrude.
Intrude in what way? What?
You don't want to intrude by giving me critique.
I
You
just
say you're
think,
on my
and
podcast.
I'm not.
You want to be respectful, so you basically not you don't want to intrude into my
No.
podcast and blah blah blah. So I feel like
No, 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 no,
yeah.
no, 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 no. I'm just being respectful. No, I just think, um, my
But
only
you wouldn't be
critique,
respectful, disrespectful. You are respectful completely.
yeah, just that I respectfully disagree with your views on communication skills. I mean, I know how to talk to women. I mean, look, the hookers that I see, right? It's not just about the sex. I get along with them. I have great conversations with them too. You know, I get along with them famously. And when I was in the workforce, I work with mainly women. I got absolutely famously. So I obviously knew how to talk to them. If I was some creepy sleaze bag, they would have complained about me, but they never did because I never behaved in that manner. So I'm always totally respectful when I deal with women, even ones I have a romantic interest in. Always very, very respectful to them, and when I talk to them about things that they find interesting and fun. I mean, I don't talk to them about politics and boring shit. I talk to things that the women find fun. So when I talk to women, I try and I've got something in common with them because I believe I don't believe in opposite attract. I think if you're going to have a successful relationship with a woman, you've got to be compatible in a lot of ways. Because they like the same things, share the same values, and yeah. So
One
uh,
way to see, I think, if somebody is a good communicator is to see if they're a good communicator in situations of distress, right? So if you have a fight with your partner or with a friend or with whatever, in those situations where you're really angry, emotional, scared or whatever, in those situations, being a good communicator, that's where we know if you're a good communicator. Um, Obviously,
oh yeah,
like
no, I agree with
getting
that.
along with people is also it's I would also count that in. I mean, there's obviously autistic people who really struggle with the basic communication. That's I'm not saying that you are that. That's not what I'm claiming, right? I'm not saying that you're not able to have a chat with somebody where there's nothing, no big stakes. I'm saying that you have difficulties uh, in situations where you are under big distress. That could be one thing that you could improve, or you could reduce the distress that you're experiencing. Um, so under high distress, right? So you are talking to a woman, and we both know that this causes you high distress if it's not a hooker where you already know the outcome, where you're already used to it, and where you already know that she's not going to reject you and everything's going to be fine and it's going to be fun and you're going to talk to her and blah 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 blah, and there's nothing at stake. Obviously you're going to be a good communicator or an okay communicator, right? So I'm not saying anything about that, but I'm talking about the situation where you're in distress, and just the amount of distress that you're experiencing, or by you already knowing that it's not going to work, it's just makes it impossible to be a good communicator. So you have two options: either you reduce the distress. That's, for example, the PUA. One good thing I think about that PUAs teach, I think some of them at least, I've seen years ago, I've seen a few videos, but is that this desensitization. I think that's a really good approach, to just the fact that you talk to a lot of girls and put yourself into the place of getting distracted. It's not talking to a lot of girls in a sense of just chatting with them, but just like really approaching them and like showing interest in them. Just that reduces your overall distress that you feel, because just by mere virtue of getting used to the situation of distress and seeing that nothing bad's really happening. That's one way to reduce that, and the other way is to be such a good communicator, quote unquote, that you're so much in control of your communication, even in situations of really high distress. And I think a mix of these two could make you and really increase your communication in everyone's, like not only you, like general. That's just a thing that I think is possible. Do you disagree with that? I don't feel like you would disagree with that.
Yeah, obviously the more women you talk to, the better you're going to get at it. But it's you know, I've communicated with a lot of women, a lot of people, and you know, I can communicate, and I can uh, talk. I can talk about anything. Um, a lot of some of the women I've spoken to, they said that was a good conversation. I said it was good, nice, good having, you know. They said, yeah, you're a nice person to talk to.
You are a nice
Communication
person to
skills
talk
up.
to. You're not in big distress right now, and you're a good person to talk. And also, but it's not what it's about. It's not. It's not about being able to just handle a nice conversation and then people saying, "Oh, he's a nice guy." But it's about creating intimacy and having a personal relationship with somebody. That's a way bigger goal communication wise. It's not about just, oh, they didn't say that I'm a creep. Wow, big success. You know, that's, I don't know.
Well, creep to a woman is a physically unattractive man. If you're a Chad, you're not a creep.
I mean, you
Creepy
can be,
woman's.
right?
I mean, look, even a good-looking guy can be creepy if he says or does something really stupid. But generally speaking, when a woman calls a guy a creep, it's not because he behaved in a creepy manner, just for the mere fact that she didn't find him physically attractive. That's what creep means in woman speak.
I don't know. I don't think. Yeah, we're not going to agree on that. I feel like you are. I don't see how you can disagree with the things that I've said. They're just mutually exclusive, and they're just pure logic. It's not about like we don't have to see you communicate with somebody to just come to that conclusion.
Yeah, but just on communication, right? You talk about communication. Okay, so you're talking to a woman. That communication, as just like with attraction, as I said before, it's got to be a two-way street. Well, I mean, you could be the best talker in the world, right? Right. You could be the best talker in the world. But what if that woman's just ignoring you? What do you do?
I'm not saying that it's. I'm never. I've never said that it's going to open every door for you. I just said that this is something that will improve or decrease your chances, right? That will bring you from a 4 out of 10 to a 6 out of 10, or yeah, from 4 out of 10 to a 6 out of 10, for example.
With some women, but not with a lot of them. It just depends on the individual woman. You can't.
Sure, on average.
Just
That's why I say we keep running into this thing where I said on average, or where I mean on average, and you said that depends on the woman. Yeah, obviously, but on average, that is going to increase your chances, right?
it'll help. Yeah, sure. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So then already with looks maxing, we got you to a 4 out of 10, right? Objectively, on average, people are going to rate you a 4 out of 10. And then individual women that you will meet, a lot of them are going to value you higher than that, 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. And your life is basically completely different at that point, right? From a dating perspective.
Yeah. Well, it could. Yeah. Um,
And then you get
yeah.
a little bit more educated, you increase your access in women, and it's a completely different life.
Well, it could. It could help. It could help.
Okay.
Help.
I feel like it got a lot very debatey again.
What's wrong with that?
But yeah. Do you think that you can show your criticism more in a written form than spoken?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do on a lot of YouTube videos. I put it down in written form if I criticize something. Yeah, absolutely. Um, but the only thing I don't like, and I'm not saying, look, I'm not saying this in a nasty way. I'm not saying this towards you. I just don't like it when a lot of us black pillars and incels we get gaslit. We get gaslit. You know, I mean, people gaslight us. They say, you know, it's not your looks. You know, it's you know the PUAs will say, oh, you guys don't know how to talk to women. Well, how would they know that? Was the PUA standing next to us as we were approaching a particular woman and we were trying to talk to her? You can't, you know. That's the only thing I don't like when black pillars and equals get gaslit.
Yeah, there is this
What do
big
you,
there is this idea of there is no problem with your looks. That's why I'm also not against looks maxing as long as it's in a healthy in a healthy
yeah,
realm. But there is just the amount of things that you can do that have nothing to do with looks that would increase your attractiveness is so high. Listen, there is this one thing that I want to talk to you about. You have this thing where you said there is this saying, "How did you get her?" Right?
uh, yeah. Hang on. That's when people talk. That's when people when they witness when they see a
Yeah.
hot woman with an ugly man. Yeah, well, my this is they're the proponents of the Eufy Doofy theory. Or people who
Wait.
say they see ugly women with hot women all the time, which is bullshit. That doesn't happen. That rarely happens. The reason why I say that, my
It's
rebuttal,
absurd. It's absurd to me. You say that that does
but
never happen, but still it
rarely,
happens
no,
often in but still it happens often
rarely
enough.
happens.
But still it happens often
Rarely.
enough for that to be a saying, just there to be a saying that is
No,
commonly
no,
known. So it's commonly known saying, but it rarely happens. Is that what you're saying? And then you
no,
said
no,
that just the fact that there is a saying for that is because so unusual that you have to
that's
talk
right.
about it. But for the other way around, how did you get him? There is not even a saying like that. That literally never happens.
No, no. When people say, "Oh, I see ugly men with hot women all the time," I say, "Okay, well, I do see it rarely. It's rare.
often enough for that to be a common saying that you know about.
Well, yeah, but my rebuttal to that is, okay, if you claim to see all these ugly guys, then why is it when people see a mismatched couple, they say things like, "Oh, how do you get her?" Or alternatively, what does she see in him?
Yeah, because they
If that
know
was
that
common,
there's other factors that come into place, and they want to know which factors those are. For example, it could be high status, it could be money, it could be education, it could be really
that's
funny
right.
guy. Comedians, for example, get really hot chicks, right? So that's why the curiosity comes from there. They want to know what's the deal with this guy, right? And there,
Yeah.
it's even happening that much that there is a saying that is common, but for the other way around, for uh, ugly woman with really handsome man, there is not even a saying for that because it literally never happens. So
No, men will often date down.
wait, is there
One of
a
the biggest.
saying? How did you get him?
No, we'll see. Women are the choosers. Women are the choosers.
Yeah, how did she get
Uh,
such a
uh,
handsome guy? Why don't we have a saying like that if it's happening that much?
well, no, you often see, no homo here, pretty good-looking guys with women who are a couple of points down their level. I see that. I see that. That's fairly common. That's
Why
common.
do we have a saying that says how did you get her, but we don't have a saying how did you get him?
I suppose it's because attractive men dating less attractive women is fairly common. I suppose that's why they don't say it.
Oh, because it's so common.
Yes.
Because it's really common. It's so common. It's like normal. Is that that makes no sense? That makes absolutely no sense.
I thought you often see. I often see like no homo here. Some pretty attractive guys marrying men who aren't. Sorry, dating women. Sorry, I was meant to say, dating women who aren't that attractive. Men will
So,
date down. Women won't.
you're saying that men date down. Most men date down. Is
Yeah,
that what you're saying?
a lot of them do. Yeah, yeah. Even Chads will date
I
down.
don't even think that. Let me think about it. But I don't even think that's logically possible. That if you say most, it must be the minority such that you could be able to say that they're dating down, right? If you say dating down or dating up, it should be a minority because then it would just be the match, right? Match is what we say is like the average. So if we look at a couple and they don't look really different from an attractiveness level, if they're highly different from an attractiveness level, I don't even know how you would look at that without looking at other couples. Do you know what I
Well,
mean?
look. From what I've look, this is my opinion. From what I've observed, when you go out in the street, look, generally couples tend to be looks matched. Looks matched. So if you see a Chad say he's going to have a really hot looking wife or girlfriend. If he's an average looking guy, you'll probably have an average looking partner, female as well as his partner. But so generally, most people tend to be looks matched. Um,
What does it mean? How do you define that somebody's looks matched?
they're probably on similar attractiveness to each other.
Yeah, but how do you measure that? Isn't that like that you say, it's really common for a woman to date a guy like that? That's normal. So looks match means that you don't see. I mean, that's how. And then when you see a man that is really below the usual couples, I mean, it's really hard to explain. But how would you measure that somebody's looks matched? That a couple is looks matched?
I guess it's a very subjective thing, isn't it?
I
Subjective
mean,
thing, but I mean,
it is to a
it's a
certain extent.
subjective thing.
It is,
It's very
but
subjective.
when you look at it on a mass scale, we would probably both agree when we see, mostly largely agree, if we see a couple that is dating up or dating down, right? To a certain extent, if in the extreme cases, right?
Yeah. Well,
We literally never see a old fat woman dating a young tall ripped guy.
yeah, no, that's pretty rare. That's
That doesn't
pretty rare.
happen. So that's why there is no saying like that. There is no saying, how did you get him?
Yeah.
But there is a saying like that for men. It's common enough such that there is a saying for that.
Well, there is, yeah, but the reason why people say that, was like, they say, "Oh, how'd you get her?" or "What did you see in him?" When people see a mismatched couple, like ugly man with hot woman, it's because it's an anomaly. It's
Yeah,
yeah,
by
it's exception of the
definition,
rule.
it's more rare.
Very rare.
It's not that rare. It's common enough for that to be a saying. It's just not the majority.
I don't know. I don't see it. Most couples I see out the street, they tend to be looks matched. They
It
tend to be
is
looks
like that. That's
matched.
how it is. Yeah, most couples are looks matched. I think by definition that's how you would say that they're looks matched, because you see many guys with many guys that are, I don't know, have a certain look, with many girls that are a certain look, and it mostly matches. Like the amount of
Yeah,
attractiveness mostly matches. But that's also the
yeah,
way you find out how attractive they are.
yeah.
So you see
But
these
but what's happened?
skinny junkie looking guys, okay, that apparently some women have a attraction for, right? You know what I mean? The Pete
Yeah,
Doherty types.
yeah,
And
yeah,
just by objective standards, I would say he's really unattractive. But just by the fact that he's hanging around with really beautiful women, I have to adjust my thinking about what attractiveness is, right? So I would then adjust it to match what I'm seeing, basically.
yeah, yeah.
So by
But
default, dating up or dating down is in the minority always.
I think men tend to date down because when one thing in the black pill incel community um, we believe is that we believe that women are more visual than men. Now the PUAs, the dating coaches, the pickup artists like to believe that it's men who are more obsessed with looks. And look, men can be visual, yeah, we are visual to a point, but overall, when you look at what goes on in the real world, it's men. It's women who are obsessed with looks,
Woman,
than men.
okay, I'm just gonna say one sentence, gonna prove everything. Women read books for porn. A
Well,
big part of women's pornography is books.
you mean like romance novels and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
So how the fuck are they visual creatures? They're not.
Well, when you see their behaviour, when you observe their behaviour, they are. Because, as you
How
know, when it comes
no
to
man would ever
male
get
female
off
relations,
a book. Like very rarely.
yeah, but then look who they put on the okay, I know romance novels don't have pictures, but on the cover of the romance novel, they'll usually put a picture of
Just
a Chad, won't they? They're
yeah.
not going to put a picture of an ugly. They're not going to picture of an ugly. They're not going to put a picture of a guy who's 5'2"
I'm not
and
saying that they're not
ugly.
attracted to visual stimuli. They are, but it's just a very small part of their sexuality. Like compared to men, it's still not small, but it's compared to
Uh,
men, it's way smaller.
uh, I disagree with that. I think women are extremely visual. You generally don't pass a look test with a woman. I mean, us men can be visual too, absolutely. But when you see what happened, and plus also too, men we have more testosterone. We have a stronger sex drive than that of women. So that means a guy, if he's really horny, he'll have sex with a less attractive woman if that's the only woman that's available. Whereas women, if they don't find a guy attractive enough, they won't have sex.
No, I agree that men
Because, yeah,
are way less choosy than women. That's definitely
absolutely,
true. I agree.
100%,
One,
100%.
but that's not the we haven't got the thing is I see good arguments for uh for incels, for there being incels no matter what they do. Okay, in certain situations they can be left out of the dating pool completely in certain situations, but we haven't even gotten to those points. So what I'm and we are not living in a society like that. So I agree that, for example, I believe that in a society where there was no monogamy at all, just simple just sex, like no relationships, no intimate bonds and stuff like that, I believe that probably there would be the 80-20 rule with like harems and like basically like in the animal kingdoms, like a little bit like that. But even there is like pair bonding and monogamy and stuff like that. But so then in dating apps you have similar structures that are really close to that. So with that I can agree, but yeah, that's we unfortunately we didn't have the time to talk about that today, and maybe
That's right.
that's also right. Um, yeah, man, it's been
Well,
3.5 hours.
yeah, that's all quick.
It
All quick.
yeah, it really did. I'm really glad that we were able to do this.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
Thank you for taking the
thanks,
time.
thanks
Thank you
for
for
having me on,
being
man.
here.
Appreciate it.
Uh,
Good stuff.
I will stay here for another 5 minutes. Maybe if somebody has some questions, I'll answer them.
Right.
Or guys, maybe wait, stay here for a second if you have another moment. Maybe if chat
Sure,
has questions to you, I think they will have more questions to you than to me.
sure.
It's the first time I'm doing this. Um, there is a big delay, right, between us and chat.
People asking questions in the chat, are they? Or
Are they?
actually, I got my.
Are you also streaming right now?
No, no, no.
Okay. I'm not sure if there is any how high the delay is.
I'm looking at my. No, hang on.
Can you
I
read
can
the
see the
chat?
chat here. Yeah, I got my iPhone in front of me.
Okay. I feel like they're just talking between each other. They don't even care.
Yeah, yeah, they're asking something.
Have you seen
Yeah,
K-pop?
one
Have you
guy.
seen boy bands? They are attractive.
Yeah, side pop.
Okay, it's funny. All right, man. I don't want to keep you.
That's all right.
Was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care. If you have
Thank you.
anything you want to add or something, just let me know.
No, no, no. Look, I know us black pillars and incels come across as whiners and stuff like that, but we just, at the end of the day, we're just a group of dating challenged men. Just, discussing the issues. That's all. That's all.
Oh, we got a question here. I don't think that you're whiny. I don't think that at all. I don't think that the problem is really serious. And I'm sometimes coming across as laughing and blah blah, blah and not taking it seriously, but I am, and I think it's a
Yeah,
serious issue, and I don't think that you guys are whiny at all. Like
that's right.
I know
Okay, well,
that
fair enough.
it's a big distress. Yeah. Here we have a question.
Yep.
ESP Revelation says, I already know about Master. JDS says, Master Yoda, I think what Kanek intended to say was that thinking you are unattractive will lead to less confidence and thus lower your chances. What is your opinion on that?
So I think,
Did you hear me?
yeah.
Okay.
What's your opinion? Okay, I think what can I tend to say, or that thinking that you're unattractive will lead to less confidence and slower your chances. What's your opinion on that? Well, I don't think I'm unattractive. I know I'm unattractive. So
Yeah, but that's if you know you're unattractive, you're also thinking that you're unattractive, right?
that's right. Yeah.
Okay, so then
That
again,
will, that will lower that will lower your chances. Yeah, or obviously will if you think
okay.
you're unattractive. Yeah, of course it will. Yeah.
Okay, Wheeling says it's demeaning to think a 55-year-old man with so much experience just isn't confident enough. Uh, what's bothering me about that statement is the just. I think that confidence is something that can be lost at 55 as well. And it's not something that has anything to do with age. And also, just, I'm not saying just as in, I think this just isn't confident enough is wrong on two levels. The first level is um, it's not the only reason that this is it's not the only cause for the problem. And also, I'm disagreeing with the just in the sense of it's not easy to solve it, right? It's really, really one of the most difficult things, confidence. Um, would you like to add something to that, Asayura?
So I was, I just missed. Sorry, that.
It's demeaning to think a
So I missed that.
55-year-old with so much experience just isn't confident enough. That was the statement.
Well, suppose in a way, yeah. I mean, I can only um, not. It's not the a lack of confidence is why I bombed out with women. Confidence doesn't attract women. Confidence is only attractive to a woman if she finds you physically attractive to begin with. When women say that they're attracted to confidence, what they're really saying is we're attracted to tall, good-looking men who have the confidence to approach us after we're given the green light to do so. But once again, to have confidence, you've got to have success. If you've got no success, you're not going to have any confidence.
Is being a black pillar something he chose for the rest of his life, or does he believe that there is a way out?
Well, I don't think I chose to be a black pill. The black pill chose me, and there is a possible way out, but not for every guy. It's not going to work for every guy.
I think he's asking for you.
For me, um,
Sir Crocodile, thanks for the question, by the way.
it's a black person. Um, uh,
I mean, if it's
yeah, I
too
chose to be a.
personal, you don't have to answer every
No,
question.
I've got no problem with the question. No, well, I think the black pill chose me. I didn't choose to. Well, yeah, I chose to be a black pillar as well, but I think it chooses you. and or does he believe there's a way out? For me, probably no.
Mm-hmm.
My dating life's over, so it's.
I mean, you gotten the freebie, which is technically dating because it's not paid, and I don't know how long
Yeah.
ago was that.
She gave me a few free ones, twice in 2010, I think twice in 2011, and once in 2014 and 2015. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah. So
Okay,
no, my dating life's over. And I've given up too. I just, I've given up.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I mean, I obviously disagree, but we've already talked about this. I don't want to
yeah,
continue to this. I'm just going to read the questions. Topi asks at 55, how different is the dating sphere compared to 20 to 30?
I think we sort of answered that previously in the discussion. At 55, how different is the dating sphere compared to 2030? Well, it's much tougher because there's less single people at that age. Most women are either married or in long-term relationships, and what few single women out there are just bitter single mothers or women who've been chewed and spit out by every bad boy. So no, it has different at 55. It gets much tougher, much tougher.
You just said shoot and spit out. What do you mean by that? Do you mean that they have
Oh, you get
suffered mental abuse and now are damaged goods, basically?
yeah, and physical abuse. Yeah. I've met a lot of women like that. I mean, I've lost count of the sob stories women have told me. Oh, my ex-boyfriend did this, or my ex-husband did that. There, blah 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 blah. And I hear it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, look, don't get me wrong. There is absolutely no excuse for a man to mistreat a woman in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And when I mean abuse, now I'm talking about mental cruelty, physical cruelty. There's no excuse for that. But some, not saying all, but a lot of them are actually turned on by that. They like dysfunctional men like that. You know,
I mean,
they like dysfunctional.
yeah, a lot of people that are, for example, suffering from abuse, and I mean, there is lots of. I've talked about this with Brandon Sparks at some point. There is lots of, for example, high confidence is really correlated with narcissism. So yeah, there can be a correlation between narcissists and success in dating. Yeah. Bu- 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 I don't know who this is directed to. Wheeling. During this conversation, you talk about blackpill as if it's math and not statistical. Maybe you can say who this is directed to. Now they're talking about Al Pacino. Wheeling says maybe it will be better when he's 70 and in old people's home. Apparently, STDs are rampant there. There is a talk about sex in age. I've watched a documentary. I mean, you're obviously still young. You're 50, 54, 55, right?
It's not like, yeah.
Yeah, so you still have lots of time until then. Like, but yeah, it feels like sexuality is something that, I mean, in your age, I think I don't know. People are not married a lot anymore. I feel like the amount of single women at your age is higher than the amount of single women at your age like 50 years ago, right? Or 100 years
I
ago.
don't know about that. I think
Okay.
it gets hard. I think that there's less single women around, before, single women around as you get older because, as I said before, um, most women by the time they're 40, they're either married or in a long-term relationship. So the pool, the, uh, the amount of available single women as you get older, it really dries up. Really drives up.
WeLink asks, have you ever considered leveraging your white skin in ethnic countries? I think you look like a Middle Eastern guy, right? That's what you said.
Yeah, I'm of Italian background,
Mm-hmm.
but unfortunately, I don't have that white European look that women like. I do get mistaken for Middle Eastern, and look, I don't mean to be racist here, but when they've done studies of women all over the world, women found that Middle Eastern men to be one of the most least attractive races of men. Now, look, with Middle Eastern guys, it's a little bit more nuanced because you get a lot of Middle Eastern guys who do look European. Those guys do all right with the ladies, but the dark and swarthy looking ones like me, well, I'm not Middle Eastern, but I look Middle Eastern. Um, no, it tends to be very unattractive to women, very
Mm-hmm.
unattractive. And this is coming from women, okay? So it's not from me.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is what women think. I think when they surveyed women, no, they've done this all over the world, and I think the least attractive races were Indian, Asian, and Middle Eastern. the
So
most
Indian are not
sorry,
middle. Okay, okay.
sorry,
Yeah.
Indian, Asian, and Middle Eastern were the least attractive
Mm-hmm.
race
Mm-hmm.
to
Okay.
women.
Okay.
But that's from women, not me. And I get
Okay.
mistaken for Middle Easterns, and women hate women. They don't like it. I mean, it's stupid to assume someone's nationality just by looking at them. It's ridiculous. But unfortunately, perception is reality to people. So, what can you do?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, actually, race pill is something that I really want to talk about at some point, but I didn't choose it for this conversation. Yeah, maybe I'll find another guest for that.
Oh, the studies are there. The studies are there. Do you know? You obviously you know the black pill content creator, the Rehab Room.
Yes. He's Turkish,
Yeah,
right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And his former channel, Incel TV, he put out a really good video talking about the race pill, and he did one on Asian men, Middle Eastern,
Yeah, I would love to
and
talk to him. I would really love to talk to him, but I've heard that he's not talking to blue pillars. Um,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Wouldn't you consider that
Asian Middle.
being in an echo chamber, like deliberately choosing not
Uh,
to talk to? I mean, if also you're theorizing about this stuff, he should be able to defend his points, right?
yeah, I mean, I like his channels. One of my favorite channels. Uh, well, sorry, well, as I say before that, with that study, there was Asian, Indian, and Middle Eastern men. And actually, Incel on his old channel, on the old Incel TV channel, he actually dedicated 3 specific videos to those guys and the dating challenges that those men face, particularly
Mm-hmm.
Indian men. Oof, they got it really tough, very tough. So the race pill is very real, very
Okay,
real.
Wheeling said it was directed towards Connect, and what he means is that I am approaching this as if it's math, but it's reality. If I remember this correctly. Yeah. Okay, so the thing is, as I've said with before with to Master Yoda, the only way we have a different perception of reality, obviously, but we have some middle ground, and mathematics is one of the possibilities how to do it, and it's also the means by which incels try to communicate their problems to the outside world, and it's the only correct one is to either use statistics, studies, logic, mathematics. Like that's the only way we can bridge our different perspectives on life. I don't think that there is any other way, because the perception is just too different. Do you think that these studies that might have questionable sample sizes or demographic factors that are unaccounted for should really discourage you in the actions you take in real life? Okay. Can you read it yourself? Yeah, right?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
I can see. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's directed towards you.
Um, Depends if those studies are true. I mean, like I said before in the conversation we had, when you with statistics you're presented, ask yourself, is that what happens in real life? Because sometimes statistics can be misleading or false. Sometimes they can be true. So just that. So ask yourself, those statistics are correct. If they are, well then, yeah. For example, like I think one reason men shouldn't go on online dating sites, um, particularly if they're not good looking, is that as we all know, they've surveyed the women of these dating sites. The women only they've only found what I think on Tinder only 5% of the men attractive. On the OkCupid study, it was like 20% attractive, and the rest unattractive. Yeah, I mean, if you read a stat like that, and I'd believe it because I've seen that happen in real life, I wouldn't go on a dating site because it's got to be a very self-esteem crushing experience. But answer Frederick von Hohenzollern's question, yeah, if you believe a statistics to be true, um, act on that. So don't, like, yeah.
Okay. Topi says, to me, you should talk with Base Contrarian. He's a really nice guy. I think I've had contact with him. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I think I've talked to him at some point. But either he declined. I think he declined. I'm not sure. I can check again. Okay. I think that's about it.
All right.
Thank you for your time, Masayura. It's been a long stream.
Thanks.
It was really a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Really nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you. Pleasure talking to you as well.
I wish you all the best. Take care.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Hope you enjoyed the stream. And yeah, because of my debate with Vegan Gains, people that are on the Discord channel have seen it. There was a debate planned yesterday night with Vegan Gains, but I don't know, something got messed up either by him or the hosts of the platform, and I don't know, we try to reschedule it now. I don't know. I hope it's going to be next Friday, but I'll post an announcement on the Discord channel and maybe also on the YouTube channel. Yes, I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm going to continue inviting experts and blackpill adjacent people. Yes. All right. What have you prepared for the debate? Not really. I mean, I've watched his debates that he has done, and I have my own like moral framework, and I think my moral framework is solid, and his is not better, and I think that he also engages in certain inconsistencies. So I think I have pretty good chances. I don't think that's I think it's gonna go good. I'm looking forward to it, and maybe he has good points, and it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be interesting, and yeah, I respect him also a lot. He's a cool guy. Let's see. Okay, guys, bye bye.